Rugby League. How about it? Rugby League. How good is it? We are live, ready to rock and roll for Super Saturday. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport. Welcome to Anzac Day footy. Absolutely fantastic day. The best day in the history of Australia and New Zealand. Well, the best day to not celebrate. Celebrate isn't the right word, but to remember the people that have been able to provide us the life that we are able to live. It is such an important day on the calendar where we get to respect our history and respect people that put their lives and sacrifice their lives so that we are able to enjoy the beautiful game of rugby league and enjoy the Dragons. Well, listen, I don't know how much we appreciate being able to enjoy the St George Illawarra Dragons right now, but maybe a new dawn beckons for them. Maybe they are onto a new trajectory now in a new direction, but at the end of the day, obviously, this is such a respectful and a day that I appreciate and I love so much, and it's just so good to see that we're able to enjoy footy because of the people who have died for our country in the past. So, rest in peace to them. Thank you for your service, and let's get into the day's rugby league. So, we've got 3 games here today, which is the St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Sydney Roosters. Then we're straight into the New Zealand Warriors versus the Redcliffe Dolphins, and then we're straight into the Melbourne Storm versus South Sydney Rabbitohs. It is a jam-packed day. There is no, typically on a Saturday, you'll have like a 30 to 45, about 45-minute break between the first and second game, and then you'll go straight into the third game. Today, there's nothing. There's just bang, bang, bang. You got rugby league for the next damn whole day. It's unbelievable stuff. That's why Super Saturday is absolutely spectacular. I think actually next week we have 4 Saturday games. Next week is 3 Saturday games and 3 Sunday games. That's right. So you've got to double up. But there is a day at some point in the near future where I'm pretty certain there are 4 Saturday games, which is just hectic to think about, mate. That is hectic to think about. But in today's games, like I said, Dragons, Roosters, and we've got Warriors, Dolphins, and the Melbourne Storm versus the Rabbitohs. So we do have some interesting storylines today. But obviously, the most interesting storyline as we currently speak is whether the Dragons can get their first win of the season. This is round 8. And you know what? I do fancy them to have a crack here today. I do fancy them to actually turn up and have a bit of a go here. It's a proud day on the calendar. This is a historical matchup here. They haven't won a game this season when you least expect a team to lose their first game of the season. The Panthers go and lose to an awful Bulldogs team at the moment. 1 second. Clownmate says, with a $2 donation, says, well, we're just a ha-ha team, chat. Have you changed your name to Clownmate? Yeah, I was just... You've changed your name to Clownmate because the doggies lost, did ya? Oh, no. What are we doing? What are we doing? Dearie me. Thank you very much for the donation there, Clownmate. To be fair, I get it. I do understand it, but thank you very much for the dono. But look, I just get a bit of a vibe that we're going to see a good day of rugby league here, and it's going to start off with the Dragons competing. The Panthers go and lose to the Bulldogs out of nowhere. Maybe we see the Dragons go and beat the Roosters out of nowhere, because this Roosters team is very beatable. They are very good if they're not making errors. But they make a lot of errors, which does give you an opportunity to get into the game. If you can capitalise on errors, then you have a great opportunity to beat this Roosters team. It's just the other teams so far haven't capitalised on them as much as they should. Like that game against the Sharks a couple of weeks ago, the Roosters made a ridiculous amount of errors. Just an absolutely astounding amount of errors, but they still came back and won that game. Even against the Knights last week, they made a whole bunch of errors. They were down, I think 24-14 or something at half time, and came back to win 38-24. This Roosters team makes a lot of errors. So if you can capitalise on them, if you know how to put some points on the board, which I know is not necessarily easy for the St George Illawarra Dragons, you can actually put up a good fight and you could sneak something. So hopefully they've got a bit of pride in the jersey, the Dragons here today. They've got a new coach. Obviously Dan Young is in as Shane Flanagan was sacked earlier this week. We saw with Manly this year, once they sacked Anthony Seibold after they started off 0-3, they've now gone 3-0 from their last 3 games. They play against the Parramatta Eels tomorrow for a potential chance at a 4-0 in their last 4 games. The Foz effect there. So maybe that could give them a little bit of spice that they do need. Obviously, they don't have Carl Flanagan. They're going with Cade Reid here today, which is really, really exciting. for Dragons fans because they do heavily believe in him going forward, and he's coming into a position of desperate need here for the club. So I don't know. Look, there's a world that the Dragons get absolutely humped on the pitch here today. There's an absolute world where they get smackarooned. But I don't know. There's just something about today. I feel like it goes down to the wire. And one of these two teams will win at the death. But please, Roosters, can we just make it a good day? Just in case, just make it a good day. Make it close, please. I'm telling you, the errors could make it happen. But all right, let's get into the two-team lineups here for today. Then we'll get into the ladder, and then we'll see what you're saying in the chat. So obviously, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here. And let's get ready to rock and roll. Thank you, Olivia. I'll read that out just after I go through these lineups. So the Dragons, they come into this game in 17th. The Roosters in 7th. And this is at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. Actually, is that still the same after yesterday? Yeah, the Roosters are in 7th. And I don't need to wonder if the Dragons are still in their spot. The ins here for the Dragons, Hayden Buchanan, Moses Sully, and Ryan Couchman, with the outs being David File, Hame Sele, and Jaden Sewer. The fullback is Tyrell Sloan, with the wings being Setu 2 and Matthew Fine. Centers of Moses Sully and Valentine Holmes. You go to the 5'8", Daniel Atkinson. With the halfback, Cade Reid comes in on debut. Fire up, the young lad. He's under a lot of pressure here on his first game because the Roosters are a good team and they are winless. But also there's no pressure, but there is a lot of pressure. There's no pressure, but there is a lot of pressure. It's a bit of a mix between the two. We'll talk about it in a little bit. The forwards are Emre Gula and Toby Couchman in the 8 and the 10, and the number 9 is Damien Cook, who is the captain. Go to the back row, Luciano Leilua and Ryan Couchman, with the 13 being Josh Kerr. And then you go to the interchange of Hamish Stewart, Locko Jr. Pacific Tonga, Blake Laurie, Jacob Halangahu, Carl Flanagan, and Hayden Buchanan, with the coach being Dan Young. Very interesting to note that Hamish Stewart has gone to the bench here for Josh Kerr. I don't really personally agree with that. I think Hamish Stewart has been great to watch when we've watched him so far this season. I think he's been a really important cog. Now, I will always stand by the fact that if you go to the bench, it does not make you any less of a player than if you are a starter, because you're still playing a role. You're still a heavy role player to getting the win for the team. I'm just a bit confused because Hamish Stewart, for mine, has been one of their better players this season. He puts in a mountain of effort. I think he even might have scored last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that. The point of the matter is that I've really appreciated what he's been doing here for this St George Illawarra Dragons team. So I'm really not sure why this late switch up has happened, because he was originally meant to start in 13, and now he's on the bench, and Josh Kerr was originally meant to be the 14, and now he's in the 13. So I find that intriguing, but when you go across this team, obviously the biggest talking point is, will Daniel Atkinson and Cade Reid work together? Atkinson back into 6 now. That should be the go for him. Ultimately he has been playing definitely as more of a 6 this year, and finally got back into it, I think, last week or the week beforehand. But he has had Carl Flanagan as his halfback partner. They mix it up with Cade Reid. So this is going to be interesting for the Roosters and how they're going to play this Dragons team, because this Dragons team will play very differently today in the way that they're styled. Dean Young would have had a very limited time to try and adjust things to his standards and to what he wants out of this team. And now Cade Reid comes in and you just don't really know what to expect. Like, yes, you would have seen his reserve grade form and what he's been doing. Outside of that, you do have footage on that. But I'm just saying it will change a lot of the way the Dragons will play. So that is an exciting thought process. It could go tits up very quickly, but it is an exciting thought process that at least there is a direction. I say this every single week on Dragon Streams. The main thing is that you have a direction. Whether it's good or bad in a direction, think about that later. At least you've got a fresh direction that could potentially go to the right path, because with Shane Flanagan, we just were past the point of thinking it was going to go to a right path. We knew it was going down a bad path. It was just going further and further down into despair. Now, whether it goes bad or good, it doesn't matter right this very second. You've got that hopefulness back. The hopefulness that there maybe is a future going down into a positive direction. So Cade Reid is the one that really does kick that off there. Their forwards are still, overall, when you look at this roster, it's not good. Let's be honest. They're not winning the comp. They're not making the top 8. Doesn't matter anything like that. They probably are still either going to get the spoon. They'll definitely be a bottom 4 team. But it's not about this year now. If you can pick up a win here today, that'd be absolutely fantastic for your confidence. If you can pick up a win here today, it'll be a miracle upset in a lot of ways, even though if you look at the Roosters contextually, they make a lot of errors, and again, you can capitalise on them. The point of the matter is the Dragons are still not a great team, but it's now about changing it, and it's now about moving into that different direction. Like I said, Valentine Holmes, he needs to really turn up here. He has had a really poor season for mine. He's played himself out of an origin spot, so maybe he turns up here today and fires up. I'm going to back him in for a try score today, Val Holmes, because he needs to turn his form around. He has been really, really poor, completely off pace, and teams have been really targeting him. So he's an important watch today for the St George Illawarra Dragons. Tyrell Sloan, he can definitely pull up a few errors as well, but sometimes he can have a really good game as well. It's a mixed bag here with a lot of these players in the Dragons, because we know we can expect more out of Val Holmes, but he hasn't been putting in. We can expect more from Tyrell Sloan, but he hasn't been necessarily doing that. I have really liked Setu 2 this season. He is on the wing. He got dropped for a little bit, which was interesting, but Setu 2 is on the wing here. I do like him. Not massive on Matthew Fionney. Sully, we know what he can do. But the front row forwards, Emre Gula, I really feel like you need to move on from Emre Gula. But Toby Couchman, the Couchman boys are really solid, man. And Ryan Couchman obviously starting alongside Luciano as well. So both the Couchmans are in the starting lineup. I loved what Toby Couchman has done so far this season with the Dragons. I think he does put in more than what we've seen from a lot of the other players, to be fair. So I'm excited about maybe a new direction here. I'm excited about a new direction, but maybe a new long-term successful direction. But we won't know until they just get underway with it. Because when teams usually sack their coach, not even usually, but a lot of the time, when teams sack their coach, we will see the players turn up the very same week on the basis that they're playing for their career. They're playing for their job security. They're playing for the new coach to say, I need to be selected for this team. Because when a new coach comes in, even though Dean Young's been there for a while, when they come in, they're looking to see who is going to put in the effort, because I can easily change this because this isn't my roster. It's not Dean Young's roster. So he is very easily able to change this if he wants to, if they've got the players there. But I believe the Dragons in the New South Wales Cup are a very good team, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let's quickly go have a look here at the New South Wales Cup ladder to see how they're doing. Because I think they made the grand final last year and only lost to the New Zealand Warriors in the final. So the Dragons, well, they are in 5th position, equal with the Roosters and the Knights and the Newtown Jets. The North Sydney Bears are actually on top. Rabbitohs 2nd and Panthers 3rd. Wow, Warriors have dropped all the way down to 8th position after a fantastic year last year. But then again, I guess they don't have Tanner Boyd like they did. But the point of the matter is that the Dragons, they were a very solid team last year, and they're still up there in that top 4, top 5 range anyway when it comes to reserve grade. So that's what I'm saying, that they've got players that could come in as a part of this new core. They could really start to switch it all up, which is what they really do need to do. And again, I think that needs to be the case with the front row of Emre Gula. I just don't think that he's been as spectacular as he needs to be for this team to go forward. And I wonder what's happening with Locko Jr. Pacific Tonga as well, because there's been a lot of reports that he's obviously leaving the club, but he is a big player. They don't want to be losing. So yeah, look, excited about what the Dragons could show. I'm fully aware they could just get absolutely pumped 100 plus here today. Like, they could get absolutely slaughtered here on Anzac Day based off what we've seen so far this season. But, hold on. Gee whiz, sorry, I got a bit of a tickle in my throat. They just have a little bit of potential spice to changing it up. So let's move over to the Roosters now. There is no ins and no outs, no shake it all about. So the fullback is James Tedesco, who's the captain. With the wingers being Daniel Tupou and Mark Nwanatuwase. The centres are Hugo Savala and Robert Toya, with the 5'8" being Daly Cherry Evans, and the halfback is Sam Walker. Front row forwards are Nafahu White and Lindsay Collins, with the number 9 being Reece Robson. Back row of Angus Crichton and Siwa Wong, with the 13 Victor Radley. And the interchange is Connor Watson, Spencer Laniu, Nat Butcher, Celeste Fiketti, Cody Ramsey and Tommy Talau, with the coach being Trent Robinson. The Roosters, they've had a bit of a weird year this year. Very, very weird. You know, they're in 7th position, but they're also equal 2nd position. Well, they're equal 3rd position, but the two teams on top of the table, Panthers and Tigers, are currently tied for 1st. That's why I said kind of equal 2nd, but not really. The Roosters, they are in 7th, but they are only 2 points away from equal top of the table right now. If they win here today, they would go top of the table equal. Obviously, their points differential is abysmal of -9, but you know, if they win here today, they would go equal at the very least with 2nd by the end of the round. You know, so that tells you a lot that this Roosters team is still there, despite all their criticism, which has been justified, despite all the hate, which has been valid for how they've operated in a lot of ways. they're still picking out the results to be heavily competitive and high up down the table. So I'm not feeling as bad now as I did about my pre-season prediction that the Roosters would win the minor premiership. I don't have them to win the minor premiership right now. It's still entirely possible. I don't have them to do it, but I'm not as upset about it because, again, with a win here today, they would go equal first for the time being until the Panthers played the Newcastle Knights tomorrow. But either way, they would be equal second, regardless, by the end of the round. So I'm not too disappointed about that anymore. But again, like I said, this Roosters team, they make a lot of errors. I'm actually going to quickly go across to the stats here to see they would have to be in the top 5 for errors. They would 1,000,000% have to be. We move down, kicking, negative play errors. Wow, that's actually wild to think about. They're actually 8th for errors. No surprise the Cowboys are first. The Tigers are in second. But realistically, the Tigers are actually in first for errors, funnily enough, because they've played 7, the Cowboys have played 8, and the Cowboys have 94 errors in 8 games is insane. Tigers with 88 errors in 7 games. So you definitely will be expecting the Tigers to make more than 6 errors. That's crazy to think about. Broncos in 3rd, Raiders 4th, Titans 5th, Bulldogs 6th, Eels 7th, and Roosters 8th. So the Titans at least make the top 8 over there. Beautiful stuff. It's crazy. The Melbourne Storm are in second last right now. They are the least amount of errors in the entire competition, with 61 errors through 7 games. That is crazy. So in the same amount of games as the Tigers are in second, the Storm are in second last. The Tigers have made 88 errors. The Storm have made 61 errors. 27 errors separate the two of those teams. But yet the team with the 27 more errors is in second. The team with the 27 less errors is in second last. Go figure. That's some crazy scenes there, to be honest with you. And even with Manly's really poor start of the season, they've only had 64 errors in 6 games. Yeah, so look, that's surprising. But yeah, the Roosters actually aren't as high on the errors as you would expect. Actually, that is a little bit falsified. They've only played 6 games. So they've got 80 errors, the Roosters, through 6 games, which means that the average... The Roosters do average the most errors. There you go. Yeah, no, there's the right stat there. So on an average, Roosters are number 1 with 6 games played through 13.3 errors per game. Second is the Dolphins through 6 games, 12.7 errors per game. Tigers in 3rd with 12.6 errors per game through 7. Titans in 4th. We're in the top 4. Fire up, Titans. 7 played for 11.9 errors. Cowboys on 11.8 through 8 errors through 8 games. Bulldogs on 7 played for 11.7 errors per game, and the Eels and Panthers on 7 for 11.6 and 11.4. So the Roosters average the most errors in every single game. I was actually really doubting my knowledge of the game and how I'm watching games to see the Roosters in 8th, but then looking at the average again, it's because they've played less games than everybody else. You would fully expect them to get 10 plus errors today, which is what they will do. Again, 5 errors each half is very disaveraged, very normal. So you fully expect that, but they typically will go into the awful category. They are averaging 0.7 below the awful category as an average, because the awful is 7 and above per half. So they're at 13.3. So that'd be 14. So 0.7 is how far away they are from an awful average. Right now, it is still technically in the average, but it's super close to it. So, yeah, the Roosters are the most error-ridden team of the competition on the average, which is definitely a stat that needs to be brought up there. But they've got a great team. Tedesco, Dally M winner. No one to us, they will play international this year. Maybe even Origin. Don't think so, but maybe even Origin. Actually, question. He's going to Rugby Union next year. For Rugby Union World Cup and to check it out over there in the Super Rugby. Does his contract keep him in for the Rugby League World Cup this year? When does the NRL contract finish up? Is it November 1, which would then entitle him to play in the Rugby League World Cup, or is it the end of the Rugby League season? I can't remember the actual date. So let us know in the chat, what is the actual date for when the contract ends up? Because I'm pretty certain you'll play international this year, whether it be for Australia or whether it be for Fiji. It'd be great for him to play for Fiji, but toss a Viti action. But I'm just interested to see when the contract is actually technically up for your NRL, to see if he would be able to play in that World Cup or not later on this year. But anyway, the centres are great. Loved Hugo Savala in the centres this year. It's been good to see that he's been able to find himself in the centres, considering he got pushed back because Cherry Evans signed in the 5'8". He gets pushed back, and we didn't know what he was going to be doing there. Now he's in the centres and he's crushing it for mine. Robert Toya, fantastic. Their halves is their biggest issue. The halves of the Roosters is a massive issue because they do really. I don't know if they combine well at the moment, but they have the potential to combine well. I did see a lot better out of them last week, especially in the second half, but this Roosters team will win the stats at halftime. That doesn't translate to them actually winning the game, however. They always win the stats at halftime. They always win the stats across the game, but they have lost a few games regardless, even with those stats. So that means that they are getting good movement. That means that they are getting really good meters up the field. But it just means they're not putting as many tries as you would like over the try line in that period. Across the game, they're still winning most of their games. But in that period, they're not scoring as much as you would expect, considering the amount of positive stats that they do have typically at halftime. And again, they were down 24-14 to the Knights last week before winning that game, as well as they did. So, look, I am going to ultimately going to tip the Roosters here today. But I just genuinely believe that Dragons will be up for it, will make it really close, and could jag an upset. Especially with the NRL this year, it is so hard to predict, it is so hard to tip, and like I said, I don't gamble like everyone usually does, but I feel like that's why it's a lot easier for me to say I'm happy for it. People who are gambling would hate this year in a lot of ways, but when you're not gambling, I'm happy to be wrong because it's exciting to be wrong. It's exciting to see that when you think something is going to happen and you truly believe something's going to happen because you've seen the whole season so far, you look at all the stats, you look at the individual games, the context of the players, and team sheets and all that sort of stuff, and it all lines up with this team. Like, for example, the Bulldogs-Broncos last night, or the Tigers-Broncos last week, or the Panthers-Bulldogs kind of game. You go really heavily down this path, and then it will go the complete opposite direction. And that's exciting if you're not having money involved in it. That's exciting. So I actually love getting tips wrong this year, for the most part. If I'm tipping the Titans to win and they lose, then I don't love that one. But anyway, long story short, I will take the Roosters, but I do fancy the Dragons to at least put on some form of a performance. And again, I really, really need to see Valentine Holmes turn up here today. I think Cade Reid has pressure, but I think it's good pressure, where it's not like it's the end of his career if he doesn't play well. It's his first game. There's no expectations for him, but also the Dragons have expectations for their club. So it's not on Cade Reid. If he went and had an awful game here today, that's not the death of his career, right? But he still has the pressure of coming in and winning their first game. He will never have to buy a beer in Cogra or Wollongong ever again if he wins this game here for the Dragons. Because, again, they're 0-7 to start this season. And if he could find a way to win in this game, as he comes in, 1, Shane Flanagan, this will be his biggest hate watch ever. 2, Kyle Flanagan, it'll be interesting if it's a hate watch because he's still technically in the team here today. He's just on the bench instead, but he probably won't come on. But Shane Flanagan will be having the biggest hate watch. However, Anthony Seibold has had an amazing hate watch these last 3 weeks where he's seen his team go undefeated since getting sacked. So the hate watch doesn't necessarily pan out. We'll also be hate watching Arsenal tonight against Newcastle, but I don't know why. I'm just getting a little bit of a gut that maybe the Dragons turn up here today. But let's go into the ladder now and see the movement. So the Roosters, they're in 7th position, equal 3rd with the Warriors, the Rabbitohs, the Broncos, Cowboys on 10 points. They have the worst points differential, however. It is very important, the points differential, especially with the comp being as close as it is. They're on -9. The Cowboys are -4. The Broncos are +15. The Rabbitohs are +30. The Warriors are +84. So with a win here today for the Roosters, Cowboys have already played. So you would go above the Cowboys into 6th. The Broncos have already played. You would go above them into 5th position. The Rabbitohs played the Storm later on today, but for the time being, you would go above them into 4th position, and the Warriors play the Dolphins right after this, but for the time being, you would go into 3rd position. Your points differential is not jumping the Tigers or the Panthers on +82 or +135, but the point is you would equal 1st for the time being until tomorrow came when the Panthers get to play the Newcastle Knights. But regardless, you would be in 3rd position. However, again, that would rely on the Warriors and the Rabbitohs both losing. So more than likely, you're tipping the Warriors against Dolphins, even though that's a hard game to tip. Rabbitoh Storm is so difficult to read, bro. So difficult. So there is a good chance they could be in third, but there is also a great chance that they go up into just fifth position, right, and still miss out in that top four. Rabbitoh Storm is just such a difficult game to read. I'm going to say, based off my tips, I'm taking the Warriors, and, oh, dude, I'm not tipping this Rabbitoh Storm. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it right now. When I go through later, just before the game starts, I'll make my tip for that one. Anyway, between third and fifth with a win. With a loss, however, for the Roosters, they are 2 points clear of Manly, Knights, Sharks, and the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have already lost this week with a minus 33 points differential. Yikes. Sharks have lost this week too, and they're on a minus 6 points differential. So the only two teams that could go above them is Manly and Newcastle. Manly play the Eels tomorrow, and Newcastle play the Panthers. Both of those teams have a better points differential than the Roosters. So if both those teams win, the Roosters will drop down to 9th position. You would absolutely be on fraud alert with the loss to the Dragons, by the way, Roosters. So just get ready and prepared for that one. If you lost this game to the Dragons today, you would 100%, million percent be going on fraud alert. And you probably would be dropping off into 8th position. I don't have the Knights with the Panthers, but I probably would say, Manly Eels is also a tough game to predict for tomorrow. But either way, you're either in 3rd to 5th, or you're in 8th and 7th to 9th. Like, there is a chance that both those teams do lose there. But yeah, that's the Roosters for you. On the other side, the Dragons, very easy to read through here. If they win this game, they will still be in last position. If they lose this game, they will still be in last position. The only problem for them right now is that if they lose and the Storm win today, now the Dolphins and Titans have both still only won 2 games themselves. The only two, Raiders and Eels have both won 3 games. They just haven't had a bye yet. So that's why it's really positive for them. They are technically above the Dolphins and the Titans. But again, the Dolphins and Titans are both by the Titans had to bye this round. Which does mean that if the Dragons lost today and the Storm won today, they would be 6 points away. I think they have the bye next week. But they would be 6 points away from getting away from that bottom spot. But still, technically, it would be just the 2 wins. However, like if the Titans, if you lose and the Titans go and win next week, or the Dolphins beat the Warriors today, if the Dolphins beat the Warriors today and you lose today, and the Storm also win today, it's only the Titans that are, relatively close to you, and it's still a 2-win gap. So that's why a win is very, very desperate times right now. Very, very desperate. And if we look at their draw for the Dragons, like next week, I'm pretty certain, like I said, they have the bye. They do, and then they play the Knights at home at Wollongong, then the Panthers away for Magic Round. Then they play the Warriors, the Broncos, the Sharks, and then a bye. That's a really tough schedule in between your bye. Knights, Panthers, Warriors, Broncos, and the Sharks is super tough. Even though the Sharks are just absolute scammers right now, the Knights are on fraud alert and they are slipping down a little bit. But the Panthers, Warriors, and Broncos is just bang, 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 uppercut, uppercut, uppercut. So even if you did win this game here today, you just you kind of need to. And it sucks to say that considering you're 0-7 and the Roosters are still a pretty good team, but you kind of need to win right now, this game. Because otherwise, going into a bye 0-8, and you've got that schedule coming up, that's rough, dude. That is really rough. And then at least you're not losing players to Origin. Whilst maybe, actually, that Broncos game may be impacted by Origin, but also how confident are you playing the Broncos without their players right now? Because they're getting wins without their players. They're getting wins without their players as we currently speak. So yeah, we'll see how it all goes. But that's the ladder. That's the game here today. It starts in about 17 minutes time. So do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Like I said, happy Anzac Day. Fire up behind our soldiers and fire up behind the people that were able to say, well, not able to, but the people that sacrificed their lives so that we can enjoy the beautiful game of rugby league like we can today, and enjoy a beer and a nice little brewski, maybe have a nice little palmy. If you call it a palmy, you're getting timed out, but if you call it a palmy, you're a legend and you got it right, or maybe even a little bit of a schnitty. You got to celebrate today, celebrate the life that we're able to live. So much love, and let's get into the chat and let's see what you are saying. So let's just quickly go back to Olivia's dono here because I wasn't able to read it before. We already had a clown mate saying that his team is a big ha-ha team. Livy Reed with the $8 donation. Another day, another dono. Clocking in for my shift and ready for some footy. It was so hard to go to sleep last night. The adrenaline was pumping. Yeah, that was me after the City Arsenal game the other week. No, I've had that feeling so much, especially when I was going to every single game for the Gold Coast Titans. Like when you were just like that Warriors game over in New Zealand on Anzac Day 2 years ago when we won 27-24, we were, and that's the thing for the Dragons here today, we hadn't won a game going into that one as well. So we were 0-6 with a bye going into that New Zealand game against the Warriors in Auckland 2024. And when we flew over that, like I've been at Canberra, we got robbed there, we got beaten by the Cowboys quite well up in North Queensland. So you'd gone all over the place. We'd lost to the Dragons at Seabass and the Dolphins at Seabass. It was just such a shit start to the season, and having to fly all the way over to New Zealand after flying all the way down to Canberra for a robbery because Casey Badger is a muppet, flying all the way up to Townsville in the just diabolical heat during that game to watch us get pumped 13+. It took a lot of effort to actually go all the way over to New Zealand, but it turned out to be an amazing time, and yeah, I couldn't sleep. The adrenaline was just absolutely through the roof. So no, I get it. I get what you're talking about. Mo with a $10 redo donation. Get around you, Mo. Good lucky today. This is a Dragons fan here on the channel. Mo, he watches them all the way from America, so it's he puts in an effort. He puts in an absolute effort, the big old Mo over there in America, so good on him. Happy Anzac Day to all you lovely folks. Speaking for all the Yanks, we really appreciate our dear friends from down under. Let's go Saints. Yeah, appreciate that, mate. Love how you call them the Yanks. I love that. But no, appreciate that, man. Happy Anzac Day to you too. And hope at least it's a bit of an enjoyable one for you over there in the old US of A. Jag with a $3 donation. Jake, this is the first time I've seen you here on the channel this year. No surprises as a Dragons fan. This is the first time I think I've seen you here on the channel this year. But get around you, man. Hopefully you can get a win here today and surprise the competition. Yeah, thank you everyone for the donos today. Shatish says, where are you now? Where will you be heading next, Blaze? I am currently in Bangkok until Wednesday, and then I'm going back to Ho Chi Minh for a couple months, and then I don't know. And that's the beauty, man. I just don't know. I'm just vibing, man. I'm just living. I actually had a really good conversation before. I went down before we started up this stream to get something to eat, because we've got a long day here, about 7 consecutive hours of streaming. And I went and grabbed something to eat, and I love meeting the older generation, older people who you kind of just go and grab something and they just have a conversation with you. And he's basically the same, like in a lot of ways. And he said when he was my age, he doesn't necessarily do it now. He's from Sydney, but when he was my age, he said he really wished he did what I was doing, because it is just so enlightening to be able to live your life just permanently overseas and just learning about other cultures and enjoying different foods and all this type of stuff, and it is a lot more inexpensive than actually living in our own home country right now, so it's really beneficial in so many ways. And no, I'm very grateful for the experience, but I don't know, I could go anywhere, you know, as long as there's not a war in the country. I can literally go anywhere. I do actually want to come back to Udaipur and Jaipur at one stage, but not probably this year, we'll see. Menti says, hi mate, going for the Dragons today, they can't lose every week. That is correct. That is a correct thought process. They can't lose every week. We've always got this same notion, and same thing with the Panthers, and I kept saying, they will lose at some stage. The Panthers at one stage this year, who was saying they're not going to lose a game this year. The question was right to say, who is going to beat them? That's a great question. But the answer was wrong, and nobody's going to beat them, because then they go and lose the Bulldogs the very next week, and that's the big surprise. And that's the point. You're not going to go undefeated throughout the entirety of the season. The Dragons are also not going to go through the entirety of the season without winning a game. So at some point it will come. Today is a very hard one to see it coming, but I also will say that the Bulldogs weren't expected to beat the Panthers, and really, looking at their season, should never have beaten the Panthers. It's the only good game the Bulldogs have played all year. Argue with Bulldogs fans. It's the only good game that the Bulldogs have played all year, and it's against the Panthers of all teams, who have lost one game. It's crazy scenes. It's ridiculous, but that is the point. It's a fantastic question to say who will beat them. It's not a great answer to say nobody will beat them. And the same thing goes to the Dragons, man. Who will they beat? They will beat someone. I just don't know who. And that's what's exciting. Just Blade says, this day is always very emotional for me. Without fail, most important day in our calendar, more so than Australia Day. Yeah, I'd say Anzac Day is more important than Australia Day. Australia Day is still very important. Not here for anybody to criticise it, because I'm proud of my country, and no matter what you say, I will always be proud of my country, regardless. But yeah, Anzac Day for me would be the most important day on the calendar. Then you've got Australia Day, and as a Christian, I will also say Christmas Day and also Easter. So that's my opinion. But no, I agree with you. I'd say Anzac Day is still more important than Australia Day, because at the end of the day, Australia Day is actually kind of encapsulated in Anzac Day, because we're proud of our country and we're proud of our history and what we've done at that specific area. So yeah, no, I would agree with that. Condor says, poor Daz. Daz gives it. He knows how to take it, though. That's why we respect him. He gives it plenty as a Dogs fan, but he does take it well as well. Olivia says, do I do the sneaky and tip the underdogs again today? Well, I'm feeling like that's... I just feel like a sneaky. I feel like it may be a bit of a sneaky here. I think it could be a bit of fun. Like, everyone's going to tip the Roosters. If you're at the top of the table on the tipping or whatnot, I haven't put my tips in for weeks, but, like, you guys hear it here. I just feel like it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk here, is what I would say. If it loses, whatever. It's one tip wrong. But if it wins, you slap it. You slap it big time. Clown says, Allianz Stadium, the home of the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Oh, no. Sean says, good afternoon, mate. Very special day today. Let's see some good footy. Let's see some good footy, hopefully. Not usually what you would expect in a Dragons game, though. Jack says, and a Roosters game in a lot of ways. Such a special day today. Always a great atmosphere at Allianz Stadium. Hope the Dragons can aim up under Dean Young. Good luck to Cade Reid. What a game to make your debut. I agree Hamish Stewart should start ahead of Josh Kerr. Josh Kerr has been disappointing. Exactly. So what's interesting is that Hamish Stewart was originally meant to be the 13. When Team List Tuesday came out, he was the 13 and Josh Kerr was the 14. So why is there a switch? Like, I don't understand what the purpose is of the switch here. That does concern me about Dean Young's thought process there. But again, I'm not going to judge him. I'm not going to judge him immediately until we see what happens. I just don't understand what has warranted Josh Kerr to start instead of Hamish Stewart here today, especially when Hamish Stewart has been one of your best workers at the Dragons this year for mine. Clown says, should I be... I just call him Clown now. Clownmate says, should I be cheeky and put the Dragons 13 plus playing $19? Well, don't put the life savings on it, but, you know, you make a little bit of fun. Maybe chuck a little fiver on it. Yeah, I think a fiver is worth it there. They're not going to win 13 plus, but a fiver could be worth it for a little bit of a laugh. We were getting worse under Flunner. If Cade Reid goes well, he could be the long-term number 7. The point is that it's a direction. Whether it's the right direction or not, it is a direction. And that is the main thing to think about. And he says it's November 1. Okay, yeah, okay, so he can play in the World Cup then. No one to us say until he can. Just got to scroll back up here. That time again when 19 men wearing the red V determine my stress levels. I think we win today in a close one. The boys will be up for it. No more excuses now. Flunner got sacked. I feel like there's still excuses today, but like I do give them a chance to at least keep it. I will say, though, that the Dragons have every possible opportunity to lose this game by a fitty bomb. I will put that out there. The Roosters, when they don't make errors, are actually really good. When they don't make errors, but they do make errors. A lot of them. They average the most errors in the entirety of the competition. The Dragons just need to capitalise today. If you can capitalise on the Roosters' errors, you will go a long way to winning this game. They can be beaten, and especially on such a special and big day like today, they can be beaten. So, as long as you can capitalise on those errors. Scott said, I like your shirt, looks awesome. Yeah, it's a nice little Cubbies shirt, mate. No, it's a beautiful shirt. No, I got it when I was in Hawaii last year. Peter says, Dragons should spoil the Roosters party. That'd be so cool, though, if they did that. Jack's still in Thailand? Yeah, until Wednesday. Livy says, if we win, what should we do? I just put a tenner on it. Oh, that's spicy. That is spicy. Scott James says, I have the Dolphins upset alert. Dolphins upset against the Warriors. I'm pretty confident the Warriors, especially after the humidity of the Dolphins game in Darwin last week, I'm pretty confident the Warriors get up there. But I also give the Dolphins a chance for sure. However, they have only won 2 games this season. And currently speaking, they are equal second last on wins with the Gold Coast Titans. Obviously, the Dragons in last. And then you've got... Oh, no, sorry, the Storm were also equal second last. Storm, Dolphins, and Titans all with 2 wins. So and this is the thing that I got a lot of criticism from certain people saying when I was like, the Dolphins, for me, don't look like a top 8 team this year. You know, their defense isn't good enough, and even though their attack is great, what if it's not clicking? And guess what? Their attack hasn't been clicking, and what do you know? The Dolphins' defense isn't much better at all than what it has been in recent years. So I have still got a lot of questions about the Dolphins. They can turn around, sure. There's a long way to go in this season. But the emphasis is on how we've watched them this year, and they have been poor. A second half against the Panthers, which they still lost, mind you, is not going to ultimately adjust my thought process until proven otherwise. So the Warriors do have it in them to lose a game like that. Absolutely. That is a hard game to predict, but I will be taking the Wires. Straight to Vegas when it hits, exactly right. Errors wins games. With the Roosters, it does. The home of the NRL just saw the highest average point scored by a team since '98, and this year is the second highest ever. I just saw the highest average point scored by a team since '98. Can you provide a bit more context on this, please? And this year is the second highest ever. Just a little bit more context. I know it's only round 8, but I'm coming second on the tipping ladder. Fire up, Olivia. Fire up. So the Dragons apparently one of the best teams at getting out of their own 20 before this round started. Who said this? They had the third highest total run meters behind the Cowboys and Panthers. Sure. Yeah, but the Dragons do make meters. They just don't know how to score points. They've got great... Like, Lucho Leilua has been unbelievable to watch this year. I've actually put Lucho Leilua as my VC today in Supercoach Draft because I am quite confident. I'm weighing up between Leka Halasima. I've already played Samuel Fainu with the injury to Hudson Young. I played Samuel Fainu, so I had to select between Leka and this is draft, not normal Supercoach, between Leka Halasima and Leilua. But I just feel like Leilua is just going to... And I feel like Halasima could score a couple of tries against the Dolphins today. But Leilua has been so good for the Dragons, regardless of their form overall. Dragons are first and made is made, yeah. You know, they put a shift in that capacity. The Cowboys, funnily enough, were and still are first on made is made. I know it surprised me too. That is really strange. But I think that's mainly because of their line breaks. I know, but the stats from the NRL app point a different picture, and also I deducted the games already played this round from the run total. Joshua says, check out that shirt. That's a good shirt. It's a good shirt. Our backline is dreadful. Absolutely no speed there, except for Tyrell Sloan. I wouldn't even necessarily say he's got the same amount of speed as he has in the past, but sure. But you're right. Yeah, I said this on your podcast. I said this on your podcast when we did the Titans one. Home of the NRL says this really is a game you have to watch because the stats will probably tell you a different story. Well, the Roosters are going to win the stats. This happens every single week. If they lose the stats, they lose this game because every single week they will win the stats and still potentially lose the game. The Roosters are a team that you can capitalise on it. It just comes down to the fact that teams that they've played haven't capitalised on them. Everyone says, I just wonder what the stream would be like when the Dragons get their first win. Imagine it's against the Panthers. Mate, I think nearly your shirt come off. Nearly your shirt come off there. Lager says, palm me beer and 2-up day for it. Mate, it's an absolute day for it. Absolute day for it. Shauna says, beer, herbal cigs, and BKRsport. Don't forget your herbal inhaler, though, son. Don't forget the old herbal inhaler. But they're just singing the national anthems right now. And it was so funny. Yesterday I got called a disgusting grub for talking through the moment of silence. It was incredible. It was incredible that I got that one. Lagan says, did Daz become a clown? Lagan, I ask you a question. Why do you think that Daz, mate, has his name as Clown, mate? You're a Bulldogs fan. He's a Bulldogs fan. Why do you think that his name has changed in the chat here? Clemmate says, I'm not listening to this propaganda about my name. David says, I definitely have no doubt that the Dragons won't disappoint themselves this time by 13+. I definitely have no doubt that Dragons won't disappoint themselves this time by 13+. Are you saying that the Dragons don't lose 13+ in a really strange way, David? That's a really strange way to say that the Dragons won't lose this game 13+, but I think that's what you're trying to say. That makes sense. We home team at Allianz makes perfect sense. Well, you're getting the financials from this. You know, your team is getting the financials rather than having it at Cogra or at Wollongong, where you haven't been spectacular this year anyway. So at least benefit from the intake on the ticket sales. No, FA Cup is tonight, not tomorrow. Just plays it. We play Southampton tonight. Jake says the Titans winning this one. The Titans win every one, Jake. Let's be honest. Like, let's be serious. Come on. You should know that this channel is an extremely serious one. We don't make jokes here. And if there's a team to win this game here today, it would be the Titans. And it's the only one that really does make sense. You know what I'll say? The Dragons will make errors here today. The Roosters will make errors here today. But you know who's not going to make an error this entire round? There's only one team. There is only one team that will not make an error this entire round. They won't give up a single point this entire round. And that's a fact. And it's the Gold Coast Titans. And this is how you got to start thinking, son. The game is about to start here. The Dragons are just doing their final warm-ups with the Roosters before the game kicks off. Good evening all. Get around you to kill. If we win 13 plus, I'll donate 20. If we win, I'll donate 15. Mate, fire up. Fire it up. They've already beaten the bye this week, Jake. Oh, we slapped the bye. I'll give Blazer 100. I'll give Blazer $100 should the Saints win. Come on, the Dragons. Come on. Well, apparently I get called a biased Dragons commentator here, even though I'm not a Dragons fan. So I'm definitely going to be a Dragons fan here today then. Tyler says, I may be eating my words later, but I think the Roosters win easily. People giving Dragons a chance because the coach being sacked is naive, I feel. I don't think it's naive. I think that obviously it's looking on the brighter side of life. So you're a negative Nancy, Tylen, and you need to start looking on the brighter side of life. But look, absolutely, the Roosters could win this game by 13 plus, but it's a special round. It's a rivalry game. The Dragons do have a fresh new hope. Does that mean it's going to be right? No, but I think that an upset is a real chance. I think an upset is a real chance, but I would definitely be taking the Roosters. I'm still tipping the Roosters here today. But the Dragons could be up for it as well. You know, again, as we've spoken about, they make, you know, some of the most meters in the entire competition. They don't make as many errors. Actually, if we look at the error stats and compare it to the Roosters, we'll go to teams. So in regards to negative play, in regards to the average amount of errors per game, the Roosters are in first. The Dragons are in 15th. So the Dragons only make 10.1 errors per game. The Roosters make 13.3 errors per game. So the Dragons are the third least amount of errors per game this season on an average, which is really strong. When you look at the attack of the both teams, the Roosters, they have scored this year 153 points, whilst the Dragons, they've scored 98 points. So that is a gap, but also the Roosters are still in the bottom 8 for attack. That's still quite low. They have played less games, however. Only one less game than the Dragons. But the point of the matter is, Roosters' attack hasn't been flowing this year, based off of that stat. And then defensively, the Roosters have given up 162 points. The Dragons have given up 203 points. It's not as far as you would think. Like, it's still a gap, but it's not as far as you would think. So, again, I'm taking the Roosters. I would say that you should be confidently tipping the Roosters, but don't be completely and utterly shocked and surprised if the Dragons were able to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Kokomo says, what will Drinkwater bring to the Dragons? Well, their fullback situation is an issue, so I think he will bring a lot, but it doesn't sort out anything defensively, but it definitely does bring a lot of spice and creativity to the attack, where the Dragons are lacking a lot of energy in the attack. But the Dragons will kick this ball off, and the Roosters get this ball at the in-goal. Sherry Evans off to Nafahu White. He brings it out of the 10, first tackle. Hit that like button, subscribe for new round here. Let's refresh the... Oh, no. Oh, mate, I'm flying. It's already refresh. It's already refreshed. You've got a live score right there. Nwanga Tawase, he'll bring this ball out here to the 20 on second tackle. You know what? I'll give you an over and under in the chat. Over and under 5 minutes. No, we'll go the first 10 minutes. Over and under 2 errors for the Roosters in the first 10 minutes. How about that? You guys can decide in the chat. Limecap Games says, come on Dragons. Whoever said the Dragons first win against the Panthers, it's what I'm hoping for. No, what you should be hoping for is your first win comes against the Roosters. What do you mean? What do you mean? You should be saying that you hope your first win comes against the Sydney Roosters today. So they'll kick this ball down to the Dragons here at the 10. Blake says over. Look, valid. And Setu 2 brings it to the 15 on first tackle. I would say because he is one, but there is an obvious answer. There is multiple answers, is what I would say. Yeah, it's like a multiple answer quiz. Second tackle here for the Dragons. There at the 20. Damien Cook off to Luciano Leilua, and he'll bring it out to the 30 now on third tackle. Get around your Blake. Footy Dad says, we're all suffering a Bulldogs hangover today, it seems. No, I've got a nice little, jump around, son. I'm fired up. I got no hangover here from the doggies. No hangover here whatsoever, son. I'm lying. So fifth tackle on the Dragons at the 40. Daniel Atkinson kicks this one into the corner, where James Tedesco grabs it, brings it to the 15, to the 20, to the 25 on first tackle. Home the NRL says, to clarify, someone averaged the points scored by teams by round 8 since 98, and even though this round isn't over yet, apparently 2026 is the second highest for average points scored by a team. Well, that does make sense. What would be the highest? Like, 2 years ago? It would have been the last 3-4 years. What was the highest? Blake says, Newcastle beating Arsenal on my life. Please, Newcastle. I'm begging. Big tackle there from Moses Sully. And the Roosters are at the 45 on the Dragon side of the field. Good to see Cade Reid talking to his players just then and getting vocal. Nafahu White He'll be at the 40 on the Dragon side of the field, so they've already got the field position here. The bunny says St George Drag Queens getting thumped today. Thrumped? Thrumped is not a word, sir. Fit tackle now. Thrumped is not a word. Fit tackle, 49-metre gain there from the Chooks. It goes up. No wangani to us, they knock on. There's your first error. That actually should have been a try. No one to us, they should have caught that. All right, Blake, you're close. That's one error. You only have one more error to go in the next... he should have caught that. He should have caught that. That should have probably been a try. The Dragons now on second tackle at 35. That is an ominous sign, though, because the Roosters had that pretty easy. It's just he knocked that ball on. Up the Gold Coast says, Titan says under. Well, it's not looking great for you right now. Emre Gula. Good run from Emre Gula. I had a bit of criticism from him before the stream started. Look, I always love to be proven wrong. You know, if he can go out and just turn up here today, it'd be beautiful to see. Tyrell Sloan to Daniel Atkinson. Ryan Couchman, and he's going to be at the 40 on fit tackle now. Cloudmates says, in other news, Liam Knight is making his Cessnock Goanna's debut in about an hour's time against the Curry Bullfrogs. Yeah, no, I'm really excited, mate. That's what I was thinking about all day. Dragons catch that ball. They throw the ball back. And Dragons, Cade Reid, left hand side, Chansey, set to two for the Dragons. Oh, it's actually Fianay. Fianay for the Dragons, not Setu 2. The Dragons lead 4-0 with a kick to come. It's not Setu 2, it is Fianay. I was so excited that I got the player's name wrong, but Matty Fianay goes bang, and it's 4-0 with a kick to come. The Roosters just don't know what they're doing at the back here. The ball is allowed to be caught by the Dragons. Josh Kerr, he gets the offload away. It rolls out to Damien Cook. He gets a good pass to Cade Reid. What a pass from Cade Reid, by the way. What a pass from Cade Reid. Maybe a new dawn beckons here with the St George Illawarra Dragons. 4-0 with a kick to come. Early doors, the Dragons leading. They don't lead much this year. What a good cutout pass across from Cade Reid. I will say, however, that everything Cade Reid does today at a good level will be circle-jerked to oblivion, because obviously, Carl Flanagan would hate that, mind you, but it will be circle-jerked to oblivion more so than a typical day, because it's his debut and because it's, you know, his first real crack at it, and the Dragons fans are so desperate for... Oh, no! Oh, hang on. The bunker's coming in, lads. Oh, no way. The Dragons are going to get called for a knock-on from Tyrell Sloan. Oh, no, Tyrell. No. No. Not sure if it's working again, but let me know. I think it might still be lagging. I don't know. There's nothing really that I can do right now. It's just, it's really lagging heavily. But can you at least hear me right now? Can you at least hear me? Everything's like working. It's just Streamlabs. Gee whiz, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. There's nothing I can do here. There's just nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do here. Is it working now? Is it working? We're working now? I think we're on. Okay, we're back. How many fingers am I holding up so I know how far behind you are? Sorry, guys. It's been an absolute shambolic bit of technical difficulties that we've just had. So, yeah, let me know how far behind you guys are. You might have to click on Go Live to get back, but I don't know what just happened. But the Streamlabs just went crazy. But at least we are rock and rolling now. And we'll move this across. So the Roosters just scored, by the way. It is 6-0. 6-0 to the Sydney Roosters. Sam Walker scored for the Sydney Chooksters. Just make sure to refresh your stream, guys. Third tackle now at the 40 for the Sydney Chooksters. Thankfully, it's moving now. That was so strange. Victor Radley will be at the 50 on fourth tackle. Welcome back. We hear you and it's good. Never mind, you're synced. Okay, yeah, it's way better now. Yeah, of course. There was it was Streamlabs because again, I've been able to watch the game. I've been able to see the entirety of the game. Everything works fine. It's just Streamlabs itself has like a mini crash. Alrighty, the Dragons. They're gonna get this ball here at the third. Oh, they've dropped the ball, and there's the game. I'm sorry. That's just bad. That's just bad play. A knock on there from the Dragons, and any kind of hope that you might have had for the Dragons to come through in this game is probably going away from you now, because that is just a poor knock on. A poor knock on, man. It really can't be happening. Roosters pumping in tries. Yeah, it's because the Dragons just gave him that one for free, man. Like this isn't anything. Like look at this. This is just really poor stuff. Setu 2 is just going to drop the ball. No pressure from the Roosters whatsoever. Like, no pressure whatsoever from the Roosters there. And he just drops it cold. Jared says, oh boy, this may be a long day, huh? Well, yeah. You know, any kind of excitement that you had from that... At least you got a little bit of excitement from that first try for the Dragons. But unfortunately, it was taken away. And unfortunately, normality seems like it may be resuming here. Unfortunately, normality may be resuming here. 13 minutes in, it is 10-0 with a kick to come. We have dropped our heads that no try has ruined us. Poor defense and errors. I was Matthew Feeney again, by the way. Nice, I did too. I keep getting the wrong winger. Matthew Feeney with the drop. We have dropped our heads that no tries ruined us. Poor defense and errors. Yeah, I agree. If they had a score, if that try had gone through, it was such an unnecessary hand from Tyrell Sloan as well. If that try had have gone through, it might have been a completely different ball game. But unfortunately, the Dragons are just all over the shop already. So it is 10-0, and it's about to be 12-0 moment now. Clown says, always good donating $5 a sports bet. Yeah, unfortunately, Dragons fans, not looking great. But 12-0 to the Roosters, 13 minutes in. Siwa Wong will score the try. It's just such a poor drop from the Dragons there. It's an unforced error. There is no pressure from the Roosters there. They've allowed him to have a free catch, and he hasn't caught it. They allowed him to have a free catch, and he did not catch it. What ruined us is us paying for paychecks, not wins. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. But anyway, the Roosters are going to get this ball here at the in-goal. And Nafahu White takes it to the 10. No, I don't agree with that one. It just hasn't worked out in regards to the signings. Tahi says, I don't rank Sloan at fullback. Need to be brave in a D for fullback, something that he is not. Yeah, that wasn't his fault just then, though. That was completely on Matty Feeney. Like, 100% solely on him. He dropped an absolute sitter of a catch when the Roosters weren't even putting pressure on him. Nawanda Tawase, but again, I'm not going to necessarily disagree with what you're saying there either. Third tackle here for the Roosters. They've made 412 metres. The Dragons have made 205. So the Roosters have made a lot of metres in the first 14 minutes here. They're definitely on target for 1,000 metres in this first half, which it does link up with what the Roosters typically do. And Sam Walker, he'll now put that ball down to the 15, where Tyrell Sloan takes it out to the 20, to the 25, and Sloan now will be on first tackle, 25 metres away. Well, we need to see a better game out of Val Holmes. Haven't really seen it so far. Moses Sully, he'll take it to the 32. 11 from 11 completions for the Roosters, 4 from 6. And this is the thing. I always say this. When they're not making errors, they are actually a pretty good team to watch. They're a very good team. The Roosters are a really strong team when they're not making errors. It's just the errors that absolutely crush them. 4 tackle now at the 40, and currently they are a 100% completion rate. Damien Cook across to Emre Gula. Good run, good offload. Hits the grass, though. And then Tyrell Sloan takes about a mountain of years to pick it up, and Sloan will lose 5 metres. What the fuck, Tyrell Sloan? Like, why are you running back 5 to 10 metres there? Like, you picked the ball up, you got it 5 metres in front, and then you ran backwards 5 metres. Like, he ran it backwards 5 metres. First tackle now for James Tedesco. He'll be at the 40. And they'll go to Daniel Tupou, and Tupou is going to be at the 45. Sloan's not great. Yeah, look, he's been very frustrating watch in the couple of weeks that he's been back. I think this is his 3rd week back now with Gutho being out. Third tackle here for the Roosters. They're 45 metres away from the Dragons line. They go to the right to Cherry Evans. Siwa Wong, he'll be at the 30. 4 tackles, Sam Walker. He's at the 25. Victor Radley, he'll be taken down at the 20 now on fit tackle. Reece Robson to Sam Walker. Walker puts that one up into the corner, and they let it bounce, and it goes, luckily, for a 7 tackle set. No, it's an escort. Oh, Dragons. Oh, you are a painful one to watch. Painful one to watch. Like, fit tackle, what is the necessity of what... have they called a penalty for a late hit on Sam Walker, actually? Oh, come on. That's not a good call. Lucian Leilua has already committed to the tackle. He's... yeah, that's a rough penalty to call. Sloan has shown he's not an X-Factor fullback like some people expected him to be. He should have been, yeah. He should have been, but unfortunately he hasn't been. Oh, no way. High con. No way! What the fuck are we watching? There's no way that's a sin bin, bro. There is no way that's a sin bin. That is a horrible, horrible, horrible call. That is a horrible call. How on earth is that a sin bin? You're off your rocker, bro. You're off your rocker. That's a sin bin, bro. You are off your rocker. That's a sin bin. The game has gone, bro. The game is gone. The game is actually genuinely gone. How on earth is that a sin bin? I will agree a majority of the time with them calling sin bins for the high contact. That is sad to see that that's been called as a sin bin for Lucian Leilua. Nafahu White, oh my goodness, 2nd tackle here at the 3. Reece Robson, Sam Walker, Cherry Evans, he'll flick it across, hidden to one to Tuase, and that's the game. Like, Dragons are well deserving of being down right now. The Roosters are killing them right now. Absolutely. Like, destroying them. But to see what we just saw with the sin bin is absurd. It's absurd. You're down a man, and now you're about to be down potentially 18-0 here. Damien Cook's complaining about something, but it's a try. The Roosters are killing them. And again, the Roosters, when they've got the ball in hand, they're a very good team. They just don't make the errors, and they're not making errors right now. It's a good double pump there from Ches, and then gets the ball across into Wase for a try in the corner. Got to tackle down near the waistline for it not to get called high these days. It's just such a sad state of the game, bro. No, the ref hasn't ruined the game. It's a bad call, but at the end of the day, the Roosters have been all over the Dragons regardless. All over them regardless. Dean Young and the coaching staff needs to emphasise the Dragons players to complete sets and be disciplined. The Roosters aren't doing anything special. They are just pouncing on Dragons' errors. I disagree. The Roosters have been really good. The Roosters are doing something special right now. They are doing what they need to do at an elite level, and that's what they do every single week. It's just they make a lot of errors. The Roosters are the ones who average the most errors in the competition. The Dragons need to try and force an error out of them because they average the most errors per game from any team in the competition. But the Roosters also are a very good team when they're not making errors. So no, I disagree with you. I understand if it's a penalty, but my God, players will get binned for every tackle. Yeah, look, if you give it a penalty, sure, a sin bin for that was diabolical. Calling it a sin bin is diabolical, but a penalty would have been completely fine. So he's missed the kick there, Sam Walker, and it will stay 16-0 with 22 minutes to go here the first half. It's just, game's gone, bro, if we're calling that as a sin bin. Toy was laughing on that try. Yeah, because it's just too easy. It's way too easy out there. Clayton says shit team. Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. Why hasn't Sam Walker gone for the HIA if it's that bad? Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're calling a high tackle sin bin, that means that it's moderate. He said it's moderate force, so there's enough force there. That means you're admitting that he's hit him across the chops. Why is there no HIA? All right, Cherry Evans. He gives it to Nafahu White. Nafahu White brings it out here to the 15 on first tackle. Show a little bit of pride in your jersey, Dragons. Even the commentary saying Leilua is dumb. The commentary saying Leilua is dumb? Are you sure? They're saying Leilua is dumb. I don't think they would have been saying that. Losing a player in today's game is too expensive. Absolutely. 4 tackle, Reece Robson, good run to Tedesco. Oh, it's game over, lads. Oh, it's game over. Sam Walker's going to score underneath the post here. Oh, Dragons, you might get punched by 70. You might get beaten by 70 here today. You may get done by 70 here today. This is pathetic from the Dragons. Roosters, they are playing really well. They're finding easy space. They're just going straight on through them. And you could honestly have 70 put past you as we currently speak, because this is, yeah, I honestly, pack her up, Brighton. This is bad stuff from the Dragons. 20 minutes gone in the first half, 20 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Mo with the $100 do donation. Get around you, Mo. You're a legend, brother. Thank you very much. That is awesome support from you. The game is done. The Dragons are a disaster. Just a shit show. Hard to say out for this, but Blaze, you are the man. Enjoy a few rounds on me. Have a great Anzac weekend, everyone. Appreciate you, Mo. You're a legend, bro. Thank you very much for the support. Unfortunately, the Dragons aren't able to get it done for you here today, I would assume, but you're a legend, mate. Gary says, how do the Dragons get out of this rut? Recruitment, change of board, another coach. I assume there's no relegation from NRL Top League. They already sacked their coach. They've got to change their board. The club is in shambles. JC is going to crash out after this. He is going to crash out after this, because you should be legitimately fuming as a Dragons fan at this right now. You are getting humiliated on Anzac Day in front of the nation, down 22-0. You've seen Manly sack their coach and they turned around, won 3 games straight. You've sacked your coach and you're down 22-0 in 20 minutes. 22-0 in 20 minutes. It's like $1 million baht. Pretty much, man. You know what, Scott? I'll say the commentary's dumb then, if that's the case. Gary says, how did the Dragons get out of this? I've already read that comment. Take care, Mo. Have a scooter. Man, you deserve it. Well, in America, what time would it be for you, Mo, in Cali? What is it? Like 11 p.m.? I think so. California time. 11:30, yeah. Yeah, that's right. To the Roosters. No one to us say he'll bring this ball out to the 15 on first tackle. Tabro says, saw how expensive losing a player was to the Tigers. So imagine what's going to happen in this game. Sure. Jared says, take care. Oh, that's right. W's in the chat for Mo. As a Chooks fan, never a sin bin. Never a sin bin. But a penalty, sure. But never a sin bin. Just hope the Dragons community don't blame the game on Dean Young. But the Dragons community weren't really a massive fan of Dean Young prior, I'll be honest. Flames on Games says, mate, I love your commentary. You need to be on live broadcast one day. Appreciate you for your support, brother. Roosters with the ball. They get away. They're knock on finally. The Dragons will finally take something here. Knock on from the Roosters, and the Dragons get the ball in the attacking half. Tyron says, Dragons need a roster overhaul. Like, honestly, there are a few players I would keep. Oh, my goodness me. They need an absolute dramatic roster overhaul. And this is the thing. That's why I said you can't just expect this team is going to be sunshine and daisies this week. You should be looking towards a new direction. But they need a massive overhaul in regards to so much. In regards to their board. In regards to organisational levels across the board. In regards to the players. I don't even know if Dean Young is the answer for the future as well. They're in a really, really awkward position, but they are at the very beginning stages of a rebuild. But will the board hold themselves accountable? Will the actual organisation hold themselves accountable? I don't believe it. I don't believe it, especially when you've got multiple chefs in the kitchen. You've got multiple, teams, Illawarra and also the Dragons who are involved. Hamish Stewart brings this ball out into the 20. Damien Cook goes out to the right. Cade Reid, remember they're down a man right now. Cade Reid puts the boot over into the in-goal. Tedesco will be taken in goals. There'll be a dropout from the Roosters. Aspect says, I actually hope they give us the points for our buys. I want to finish on 0 points. Clemens, if the Dragons lose next week, the match, the longest streak. If the Dragons lose next week, they match the longest losing streak in NRL history, 13. That's right, because they didn't win many at all at the back end of last year as well, yeah. Drinking and Keon are good signings, to be fair, but there's still so many problems. Absolutely. But the Dragons, they're going to bring this ball now. Emre Gula to the 35 on first tackle. So I don't even know if Roosters 4 in a row doesn't convince me against Penrith still. Well, you lost by 40 against Penrith when you played them. Second tackle for the Dragons at 25. The Roosters are improving as a team. And today is a good sign in regards to they're not making as many errors as they usually do. And they're putting on a score to warrant that as well. As I say, the Roosters are a very good team with the ball. It's just they make a lot of errors. Today they're not making errors and you're seeing how good they can be. Tyrell Sloan gives it to Cade Reid. Cade Reid then to Toby Couchman. And Couchman will be at the 13 on 4 tackle. Damien Cook, he'll go to Cade Reid. Cade Reid back onto the inside of Tyrell Sloan. Gets the offload away to Cade Reid. He'll get it across to Emre Gula. 6 again over the Dragons. Well, Dragons, you need to go over right now. Right this very second, if you want to take any form of pride back into your team, into this game. Bit of a hospital pass there from Cade Reid. Sully at the 10, second tackle. You must score this set. Cade Reid on second. What? He's caught the... Why'd Cade Reid just kick that ball on second tackle? They've caught the ball, and it's still Dragons' ball, but what just happened? Tyrell Sloan at the back, quick passing, Setu 2, high tackle arguably, but they will score! This is Setu 2, Blake. Setu 2 does score. 22-4 here with a kick to come. Ah, beautiful Christian man. I love that. I love that every single time after he scores. I love that. But the Dragons will score as 24 with a kick to come. And they're down a man and they've scored, mind you. But also, what just happened with Cade Reid kicking that ball on second tackle? What just happened with him doing that? That pass from Moses Sully, it ended up working. But it could have easily been a knock-on too. Could have easily been a knock-on as well. But obviously it was not. And again, they're down a man of Watchalong Illawarra. So 22-4 with 15 minutes to go here in the first half. Straight. That's great strength there from Setu 2. Just players, so that high tackle better be a bin if we want consistency. I don't want it to be a bin because I don't want that to be the consistent notion. I don't want it to be the... That is a high tackle, though. It's definitely should have been a penalty if it wasn't a try. And a lot of the... You could argue 8, but they're not going to. No, I don't want that to be the consistency, though. I want the consistency to be that not be a bit. Doc says, go Dragons, let's roast this Roosters. They're currently roasting you, mate. But long way to go in this game. However, they're currently roasting the old Dragons. Imagine a comeback today. Could you imagine, not only do you get your first win of the season, but you come back from 22-0 down against this Roosters team? That would be wild. On the second is crazy. On the second was ridiculous. Is that not a penalty try? So they will call an 8-point penalty try when there's a high tackle on the immediate play. So that is the previous... Like, it's the same tackle, but it's not the immediate play because he gets past that tackle. So I understand what perspective you're looking at that from, and you could argue that you're right, but they're not going... They'll never call that. The Dragons will miss the kick, so we'll say 22 points to 4 with 14 minutes to go in the first half. No, I know you're talking about an 8-point try, yeah. Jared says, really is a delicate tightrope walk, but yeah, I don't need to see another round of 18 sin bins. That was awful. Yeah, I would rather the consistency be that this isn't a bin. I would much rather to see this consistency than the other one. Jazz, Cade Reid is certainly a risk taker. I just don't know what his thought process was there. At least they caught it, but I don't know what his thought process was. So the Dragons will get this ball in the in goal. And Blake Laurie takes it out to the 10. There's more chance of a 60-year-old virgin that's fat to pull Sophie Rain than us win from here. What a random comment. Third tackle. Cade Reid has a bit of Sam Walker in him, to be honest. I actually haven't mind Cade Reid when he's had the ball here today so far. It's still early and they haven't had a great deal of attacking pressure, and he did have that brain fade. And penalty the Dragons. Oh, made a little bit of a turnaround here. And the Dragons have got their play back too. Penalty Dragons. Could we see a bit of a momentum shift? Scotty Jones with the $2 dude donation, and I love this from you, Scotty. Says, lest we forget Jesus Christ is King. Jesus Christ is King. Just Scotty James. Love that comment. And great to see that from you, and appreciate the dono as well, brother. Never say never, brother Saints and March. Well, they're 35 metres out right now. They've got Watchalong Illawarra back onto the field as well. Dragons with the ball out to 30. Damien Cook to Cade Reid. Reid underneath to Blake Laurie, and Laurie's going to be 25 metres away from the line, second tackle. Cat amongst the pigeon if they could score now. Cade Reid. Then Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson short ball to Moses Sully, and Sully will be 18 metres away from the line now. Third tackle. What's the referee calling here? Oh, time on? What the hell was that from the referee, Grant Atkins? Hamish Stewart, strong run to the 10 on 4 tackle. They roll it back to Damien Cook. He'll go to Atkinson. Short ball, Blake Laurie. He's 5 metres away from the line. Fit tackle. Damien Cook. Cade Reed. Reed kicks it through. That's a 6 again. Cade Reed picks it back up. Quick passing. Oh, it's a forward pass, you moron, bro. It was a 6 again. You didn't need to do that. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh, bro. It was a 6 again. You don't need to chance the arm like that, Moses Sully. Oh, this is what happens when you're a low-ranked team. You don't need to do that, Sully. But that's to the point that I made just before with the previous pass that ended up being a try. That same thing has happened here where he's gone from hero to zero from that hero play before. You didn't need to do it. It was a 6 again. Oh, man, that's disappointing because you could have just continued to pile on the pressure there. Just take the tackle, Sully. But it goes to the point before that could have easily been what we just saw just then because he has to have that really quick pass in him. And he had the quick pass in him, but it went forward. We have Laurie, who is the same build as a Jumbo Marshmallow at prop. Yeah, I've never really rated Blake Laurie. Some people tried to debate it with me before, and I never really saw it. Still don't really see it. Third tackle now for the Roosters, and they're going to be at the 28. 2 tries have just blown. Yeah, well, the Tyrell Sloan one, where he didn't need to have his hand up there when there was already a player taking the higher emphasis in the catch into, that forward pass there. But Setu 2 will grab his ball at the 20, and he'll bring it out to the 30. Unfortunately, they just forced them. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh, Dragons. You took the momentum into the game. You took the momentum back, and then you've just knocked the ball on at your own 25. And it's a penalty to the Roosters. Oh, my gosh. Oh, he's in the bin. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. He's in the bin. Daniel Atkinson's gone to the bin. The Dragons have had their second sin bin of the day. Oh, my gosh. The Dragons have just had their second sin bin of the day. Grant Atkins has immediately just binned Daniel Atkinson here. He's saying Ruck was marginally slow. He can't slap at the arm. I really want to see this again because this is a big immediate call. Like, that's contentious. A step is taken by the dummy half. Yeah, Greg Alexander just said the same thing as me. He's made a step, so that's fair game. He hasn't just tried to pass it with flat, straight from the dummy. He's taken a step. Yeah, commentary's saying the same thing as me right now. That's a very contentious penalty. Sin bin, sorry. That is very contentious. Both these sin bins have been real weird. They go quickly. Daniel Tupou knocks the ball on, and the Dragons will pick this ball up, and they'll get to the 10, but they'll knock it on as well. So the Dragons get the ball here at the 10. That is a very contentious sin bin because he has made a step. So that means he's moved off of the mark. He's moved off of the mark. See, look, he's gone off the mark. Sam Walker has moved. He's not passing. You can't swipe at the arms when you pick the ball up, like, straight-footed and then pass it. If you've moved off of your mark, that's ultimately starting the play. You are allowed to make that play. I wasn't sure if Atkinson was on at marker and then plays at the ball. I'm not sure, though. What they're saying is you can't swipe at the ball from the dummy half, but if the dummy half has moved and he has gone to make his play, that is then free game. He has made the step. He has made the movement. Third tackle now for the Dragons at the 30. 9 minutes to go the first half here, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. Hamish Stewart, Tyrell Sloan, and the Dragons, Ryan Couchman's going to be at the 30. Someone said I'm not bragging. You said you were bragging. Sounds like this ball don't lie. Ball don't lie in that scenario for mine. Fit tackle here for the Dragons. But then again, either way, like, they've got a bin, though. So they finally get Lucho Leilua back from a controversial sin bin. And then they get another controversial sin bin. James Tedesco to Daniel Tupou. And Tupou, he will get this ball. Good post contact at the 28. They get their player back from a really controversial sin bin to only get sin binned again. Spencer Lenier, he'll get this ball to the 42. But the issue is the Dragons again. You got your momentum. You put the momentum on, and then that's 4 pass. Tupou is going to get this ball to the 30. Some pretty beneficial calls coming to the Roosters here. Way better as a team. The well better team here, so don't use it as an excuse, Dragons fans. But the Roosters are getting some pretty beneficial calls right now. Gula goes off for Laurie. He did like 5 minutes ago. Sam Walker, he'll put that ball. Oh, that was Cherry Evans, sorry. And Matthew. Oh my gosh. Oh, Fionney sucks, bro. Oh, Matthew Fionney may be the worst winger of all time. Matthew Fionney may be the worst winger of all time to watch. Matthew Fionney may be the worst winger of all time to watch. I'm having an aneurysm. I might crash out. Well done, Roosters. You deserve to be winning this game by this much, Roosters. This Dragons team is incredible to watch. What has Matthew Fionney just done here? Matthew Fionney goes up for it, catches it, and then just comes to Robert Toya. Fionney has caught that ball, allowed it to be stripped from Robert Toya, and then he's just gone over and scored. Matthew Fionney, I can't deal with you. I can't do it. Rugby league, lads. How good is it? I can't do it. You have caught... This is 2 immediate tries. 2 tries for the Roosters have come directly from Matthew Fionney today. Sean says 136 watching and only 29 likes. Hit the button, people. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. If you don't laugh, you cry, and he says. The time says, I do not envy Dean Young. That might be Max pretending to be Matt. Oh my gosh, Matthew Fionney. Fionney has contributed, it's about to be 12 points, to 12 direct points. That's, again, the Roosters have been so clear as the better team here today. So clear. So clear. But if you're a Dragons fan, you're still going to be fuming at this, man. Dragon says, guess it makes sense why they kicked to Fionney. Oh, no, it makes sense for the Roosters. Again, the criticism for the Dragons has nothing of an impact towards the Roosters. The Roosters, as I always say, are a very good team if they're not making errors. And guess what? Today they're not making errors, and today they're putting on points, and deservedly so. The criticism is coming from the Dragons right now, who are an absolute shambles. Sam Walker will get the kick. It is 28-4 with 6 minutes to go the first half. 23 Ice says the Roosters are making less errors. Correct. How many NRL says, bro, Matt Fionney scored one of the best tries I've ever seen in 2022, but other than that, he's been poo-poo. Well, yeah, I don't think he's a great player. Saying the words poo-poo is a bit weird, though. What changes should the Dragons make next if you were the coach? They need a roster overhaul. It's not an immediate change. They need to completely overhaul their roster. They need to debut some young lads. They just simply need to go through, because this Dragons team defensively is a shambles, and attacking-wise is also a bit of a shambles. We've seen a bit more positivity in regards to their attack today with Cade Reid there, and it is harsh on them because they are going to be 20 minutes of this half, they're going to be down a man. 20 minutes, they're going to be down a man for. And both of them have been quite controversial in regards to those sin bins. So this is and the Roosters are a good team. So it's difficult to read, but like you need to have a major roster overhaul here. Did Leilua get sin bin? Yeah, he did. I don't believe it should have been a bin at all. It should have been a penalty. And the other one should have been penalty, not a bin. And the other one, the dummy half had made his move, so it didn't make sense why it was a penalty, let alone a sin bin. The Roosters have caught it, and then they knocked that ball on. So the Dragons are going to get the ball out of here at the 10. 5 minutes to go the first half. Both sin bins have been quite controversial. I would actually, funnily enough, listen more to the Leilua sin bin than I would to the sin bin at the dummy half just before. The Dragons are at the 13 on first tackle through Setutu, who himself hasn't had exactly a spectacular one. It's just laughable at this point. It really is, Billy. And Hamish Stewart will come off the field. Has to be injured because he was on the bench today. Roosters are doing well, but we're shithouse. Yes, the only ones I'd keep are the Couchmans, Stewart, Egan, Locko, Reed, and Halangar, who the rest can piss off. What's incredible is that Locko is leaving. Well, they're suggesting he's leaving anyway. There's no way you should be letting him go. But yeah, I would agree with that. I would say that's fine. That's not a great kick, but it's going to be allowed to bounce. It's going to bounce back here for the Dragons. And Setu 2 will then kick this ball over the top. Where's the bounce going to go? It's going to bounce awkwardly. Tyrell Sloan. Oh, it's a little bit too hard. Oh, that was exciting, but it will be no try. We'll go for a 7-tackle set here for the Roosters. But at least you got a bit of excitement out of that. Roosters allowing that ball to bounce is ridiculous. Oh, it's just unfortunate that kick. He got a little bit too much on that boot. Setu 2 is doing okay. He's been good and he's been bad. There's been really bad moments from Setu 2 today, but he's also had some good moments as well. Even a penalty is harsh for Luch, like it was a tap on the chin. Boy force. No, it's definitely a penalty. A sin bin is ridiculous, but it was a penalty. That's consistent. A penalty is consistent. A sin bin for that call is just ridiculous. Sam Walker, he'll get taken to... it's a high tackle. High tackle against Blake Lawrie. And penalty to the Roosters. Locke wants to stay now because finally got sacked. We'll see. We'll see. Because whilst Flanagan has been sacked, there's a long rebuild ahead of him. Long rebuild. So does he want to be a part of that? Or will he go to greener pastures in his mind? Atkinson, 2 minutes to go of his sin bin. Sin bin Laurie, that will actually help us. I won't be convinced that he's staying until I see that he's signed. Spencer Leniu, he's going to be 10 metres away here from the line on second tackle. I think he's lost his ball here, Spencer. The Dragons were claiming there was, but I don't think so. Robert Toya. Oh, he's offloaded the ball at the back to Nawata Tuwase. Oh, Dragons. Oh, no. Oh, no, Dragons. No. Oh, this is going to be an epic crash out from JC, man. This is going to be an epic crash out. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. Oh, they are 100% hitting 50 today. 1,000,000% the Roosters are hitting 50 today. 1,000,000%. Oh, boy. This is a rough watch here on Anzac Day, lads. The Roosters way too good for the Dragons. I don't think he went out, but he got close. No, he's fine. Poor Cade Reed, he got dog walked. Oh, man. This is. I'm sorry, Dragons fans. This is embarrassing right now. It is embarrassing. Billy, this is what am I watching? Like, what is this shit? It's insane, Billy. It really is. JC account benefits from the Dragons losing. His reactions to the losses go viral. Yeah. What's your point, though? Have you noticed that a lot of the content seen, people are looking for the crash outs now? No, I don't think he lost that. Oh, it was close. It was... I don't know. With me, I'm not suggesting anybody else fakes it or anything like that. But with me, I will crash out if, like, I will just crash out at a random time. I'm not here to buy into, like, this new trend of everybody. Like, JC started it, because JC does really well with it. He really goes in. But I'm noticing a lot more people now trying to capitalize on that. And it's like, it's almost like it's really put on. When you see me crashing out, it's because I'm so passionate about rugby league in general. I'm not putting it on. It's my genuine reaction. Surely 0-8 is the worst start to a season in a long time. Yeah, slightly worse than the Titans in 2024. We were 0-6 before we beat the Warriors in round 7. Round 8. We won in round 8, but we had a bye. That's why we were 0-6. Well, they'd be 0-8. They got the bye next week, luckily for them. But you've got to remember, they haven't won in about 365 days because they lost. Their last win was a long time ago, man. The last win for the Dragons was dead set like in July or something of last year. Dragons 2025. Their last win, lost to the Panthers, lost to Manly, lost to the Rabbitohs, lost to the Warriors, lost to... Oh, the last win came against the Sharks on August 9th. The Sharks on August 9th. Yikes. So, however many days it is, not quite 365 days, but it's getting there. Relegate the Dragons and bring the Burleigh Bears in genuinely. Well, I think we're bringing in another Gold Coast team. And penalty to the Roosters. Spectacular stuff, St George. Yeah, you haven't won since August last year, Billy Bob, yeah. And sorry about your hard-earned going to this game, Dragons fans. No, it's unfortunately, it's embarrassing. Billy Bob says, relegate, read that. It was against the Sharks. No, yeah, it was. Yeah, and the week before that was against the Raiders. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I don't know what's happening here from the Roosters. Sam Walker kicks the ball over the top. The Dragons will. Oh, no way. Oh, I would have walked away. I actually think if they hadn't scored that try, the Roosters, I might have been done. That may have been it for me. That may have been it. I would have seen you for the next game with the Rabbitohs versus the Storm. No, next game was Warriors Dolphins. I would have seen you for that one. It would have been that would have been done for me. But 34-4 here at half time to the Sydney Roosters. Dragons fans, we're going to go through the stats here, and you might have a heart attack, but we have to do it. It's going to be a really, really hard listen. A really hard listen. But you put your seatbelt on, man. Put your seatbelt on. All right. Well, guys, obviously hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Let's get into the stat to see how this game is going. The score is 34-4 to the Roosters. At half-time, this is at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. Now, the try for the Dragons was set to 2. They missed the conversion. The Dragons have had 2 sin bins in this game. Luciano Leilua in the 16th minute and Daniel Atkinson in the 29th minute. Whilst for the Roosters, their tries have been Sam Walker, Siwa Wong, Mark Nwanatawase, Sam Walker, Robert Toya, and Mark Nwanatawase, with 5 from 6 on the conversions. Then we go to the possession, 56% possession to the Roosters, 44% possession to the Dragons. The time in possession, there's been a lot of tries in this game here, guys, so of course it's going to go under the 25-minute threshold. 13 minutes and 6 seconds for the Roosters, 10 minutes and 20 seconds here for the Dragons, which means it is 23 minutes and 29 seconds. It's not great, but it does come when you've seen as many tries as you have today. We've seen 7 tries already. We go to the completion rate, 70% here for the Dragons at 12 from 17. 70%. That's not good enough. 80% is what you're looking for. They've made the 5 errors there on their set. 70% is well underneath that. It's not awful, but it's literally 1% away from being in the awful category of 69% and below. The Roosters, they're great. 87%, 21 from 24. As I say, the Roosters, very good team when they don't make errors. If they make errors, they suck. And teams can capitalise. But if they're not making errors, bing, bang, boom, they will dominate you. And today they are dominating with a healthy completion rate, and that's what you need to see as a Roosters fan. Because when we look at their error count today, it won't be much. We go to the run, 66 for the Dragons for 548 run meters. That is not good enough. That is 112 meters behind the 10 meters on average per run that you're looking for. 112 meters behind it. 66 runs for 548 is really, really bad. And then you compare it to the Roosters, who are at 94 runs for 988 run meters. So whilst you're 28 less runs than the Roosters right now, you are averaging, you are underneath the 10 meters an average per run by 112 run meters. The Roosters, with their 94 runs, are at 988 run meters. So they're above the 10 meters on average per run by 48 meters. You're down by 112. They're up by 48. That is significant. So, and even if you gave the 28 extra runs to the Dragons to get to 94, and you gave them that 10 minutes average per run, which is super unfair because they're down on it by 112. But if you give them that 280 meters, that would be 648, 748. That would be essentially about 828 or so, which means that you'd still be down by 160 meters in the Roosters, even with the unfair stat there. That's how much they're dominating this game. That's how much they're dominating it. And then we go to the post-contact meters with the 28 extra runs. They've got 293 post-contact meters, the Roosters, to 197 post-contact meters for the Dragons. It'd actually be pretty close. That's actually a pretty close metric there. If the Dragons got their 28 extra runs, they would probably be pretty equal in regards to post-contact, I would assume, based off of what we typically see. So that's a pretty decent stat there for the Dragons. But again, it's still It's still on its own merit individually right now, down by 100 metres. Line breaks, 4-1 to the Roosters, way too easy for them. Tackle breaks, 19-12 to the Roosters, above the average of missed tackles there for the Dragons. And now we go to the average set distance. 25 metres and below, turn the stream off, it's pathetic. 25 to 30 is disgusting, 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker, 40 to 45 is great, 45 to 50 is fantastic, and 50 plus is basically perfect. The average set distance for the Dragons is 32.25. And that is underwhelming. It's not good enough. You are in the mid-range of underwhelming as well. You're not close to the hitting the marker, and you're a little bit enough away from the awful category. But 32.25 is just not enough metres. And the Roosters, they're at 41.18. So they're in the great category. They're beating you out by about 9 metres right now per set. 9 metres. So that's really positive there for the Roosters and not at all for the Dragons. You go to the average play the ball speed. 3.19 seconds below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Dragons are at 3.5 seconds. Ooh, a little bit of mosquito. 3.5 seconds is average, normal play the ball speed. The Roosters, 3.2 seconds. That is fast, man. That is 0.01 away from being extremely fast, but that's just fast in general. Really speedy stuff from Sydney. And then we go to the offloads, 4-2 to the Dragons. No team is really getting a lot of offloads here today. The forced dropouts is 1-0 for the Dragons, actually. Kick defusal is 17% to the Dragons, 0% here for the Roosters. And then we go to the effective tackle percentage. Now, this is interesting. This is really going to tell you how individual of a metric this is, because the Dragons have a really good metric here. Effective tackle percentage is solid. But again, to re-emphasize it, this is a individual stat on if they're making their tackles and completing their tackles. It's not about a team collective, because again, the Roosters have scored 34 points. But the Dragons are going to have a pretty solid number here, and that's because individually they're making their tackles for the most part. But team collective-wise, it's also been just dreadful when you're watching the game. So 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. 90% above is basically perfect. The Dragons are 89.42%, actually better than the Roosters here at 88.39%. But 89.42% is getting close to the great category, the fantastic category. I'm not going to suggest perfect, but 89.42% is very good. 186 tackles made is above the typical 160 to 180 that you look at. Missed tackles is 19. The average is 15 to 17, so 2 extra missed tackles there than the average. And the ineffective tackles is a limited 3, which is 2 underneath the average of 5 to 7. What is actually kind of sticking out to me about this game right now is that a couple of the tries the Roosters have scored have come directly off of a kick that has been dropped by Matthew Fine. So 2 of the tries, you take them away, it would be 22 to 4, which would be only the 18 points separating, which would suggest a lot more about this effective tackle percentage. I feel like you could agree with it a lot more based off of that. They have also scored from broken plays on that right-hand side a couple of times now. So I would say that the effective tackle percentage actually does make sense to me. They're just breaking down completely in defense. And again, 2 tries have directly come from Matthew Fine making mistakes. So 89.42% is great. It's really solid, hitting the marker. But as a collective, they're making enough mistakes to allow the Roosters to score very easily. The Roosters are at 88.39%, so about 1% behind the Dragons, but they're in the same category of hitting the marker. 137 tackles made, so well underneath the average of 160 to 180 on the typical number. And then the missed tackles is 12, so they're 3 underneath the average of 15 to 17. But their ineffective tackles are up at 6, so they're right back in the middle of the average of 5 to 7. So the reason why you're seeing a Dragons effective tackle percentage being above by 1% is because they've had to make about 50 more tackles than the Roosters. They've made 7 more missed tackles, but they've got 3 less ineffective tackles despite having that significant amount more tackles made. So this is actually a better stat here for the Dragons. But again, they're the ones down 34 to 4. And then you go to the negative play. Funnily enough, the Roosters are still making a few errors. That's actually crazy. That's how good this Roosters team can be. I'm pretty happy that I said pre-season they could win the minor premiership. I'm pretty happy. I doubted myself early, but right this very second, I'm kind of leaning back towards it, because this Roosters team, when they don't make errors, they win. When they don't make errors, they look really, really good. They just make a lot of errors, and today they've made 6 errors still, which is the highest of the average. So 3 and under is really good. 4 to 6 is average. 7 above is awful. 6 is still pretty high. That's 1 away from the awful category. The Dragons are at 5, so they're in the middle of the average. I'm really liking the Roosters right now. Yeah, I think the Roosters. I think they're really starting to find their form, and this is what they do. The Roosters do start off season slow, and they really pump home strong. And we're not even at the pump home strong stage. We're still at the earliest part of the season. We're not even at Magic Round yet. We're not even at Origin yet, and the Roosters are going great guns. And even though they've looked awful against the Sharks, they still found a way to win that game. They've looked awful in a lot of games this year, but they've still found a way to win most of them. The biggest knock to the Roosters' chances this year is that Panthers game, where they got beaten by 40. But I feel like if you play that game again, when we play that game again later on in the year, I think it'll be a lot closer. Because I just think the Roosters came into this season super underwhelming, which is what they typically do. So 6 errors here is quite high for the Roosters. They are the most error-ridden team in the competition, and this is proving that, but they're still scoring a ridiculous amount of points. Penalties conceded is 4-1 against the Dragons, so quite high against the Dragons, really good for the Roosters. Ruck infringements is 1-0 against the Dragons. Inside 10 metres is 1-1. On reports is 1-0, and then a whopping 2 sin bins for the Dragons is ridiculous. 2 sin bins for the Dragons is outrageous. So I can't see anything except for a fitty bomb here from the Roosters. I can't see anything but it. And I genuinely believe 60's on. It's really sad to see the state of the St George Illawarra Football Club right now. It's really sad. Because regardless... And by the way, the Roosters are now at 91% on a completion rate with 22 from 24. That's spectacular. And they're at 98 runs for 1,008 run meters, so they've gone above the 1,000 marker. It's a really sad state to see how far this club's fallen, because this club has fallen dramatically. Right this very second, I'm struggling to see a world they don't win the spoon. And that's crazy. If you're a Dragons fan hearing a Gold Coast Titans fan say, and I think I'm pretty fair in my valuation, but I struggle right now to see a worse team this year as we currently speak. And the Dragons will win a game at some stage, and it could be against the Titans, but they've already lost to the Titans. So that means that they've already still got to get another win to add on to that, and that's assuming the Titans don't jag a win like they possibly can at some random stage as well. Like they could beat the Raiders next week, who are in third last at Super Stadium, and that would just be gigantically bad for you. You get the bye, but you'd be 3 wins below the teams closest to you. I struggle to see right now who is another team that is going to be as bad as what we're seeing from the St George Illawarra Dragons this year. Jag says, ABC said we have a wooden spoon roster, and our CEO Tim Watsford agreed. What? ABC said you had a wooden spoon roster and your CEO agreed? Your CEO agreed that your roster is a wooden spoon team. Are you serious? Your CEO publicly agreed. There's no way. No, I don't. That's bullshit. Surely that's bullshit, Jag. Surely there's no way that's true. That is the most astounding thing I've ever heard, if that's true. That is actually astounding. I need you to tell me if that's actually true or not, or you're just saying that, because that is the most absurd thing I have ever heard. If the CEO of a club is publicly saying that their roster is a wooden spoon worthy team, that is disgusting if that is true. Oh, dude, I would flip out on my social media if Steve Mitchell for the Titans said anything like that. He would never, I know Steve, he would never do that. He's got a lot of confidence. But if Steve Mitchell ever did that, which I don't think he would ever do, I would rip that to oblivion. That is incredible if he said that. He does need to quit right this very second. That should be an absolute blow up in the media. If your CEO, like the thing is, I can say it, I'm not a Dragons fan, and I'm a content creator across all the NRL, right? So I can say it, and it's fine for a perspective, and you can say it as a fan because it's fine as a perspective. Anybody can say it, except for the club itself. You had Shane Flanagan pre-season coming out saying we're not going to win the comp. One of the dumbest thing a coach has ever said. Shane Flanagan, the coach, came out, and this is why I slightly believe Jag might be right here, because his club is a shambles. Shane Flanagan, the coach, said we're not winning the comp this year. Ridiculous thing to say. Ridiculous thing. Whether you believe it or not, you don't say that as a coach of a team. It's such a shambles. I half believe Jaggy. I half believe him. See, coach for the season started said Dragons aren't winning the comp, and now your CEO says you're going to be wooden spooners. This reverse psychology is an interesting approach. Gee whiz. We need 2 minutes to score second half, boys. Imagine not having a try scorer in a game that's half-time, 34-4. Hey, guys, give me 1 second. I'll be back in 1 moment. They're walking out into the field right now. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me 1 moment. Alright, we are back. Jeremy says, going to the toilet, game's about to start, mate. Well, if I needed to go to the bathroom and the game was on, I'd still go, man. Not if it was like the 80th minute and it's like tie game kind of deal, but, mate, the game hasn't even started yet. The Dogs are the only team they got close to, which tells you a lot about Canterbury right now. No, I would disagree with you as well. Yes, they got close to Canterbury. They also got close to the Titans. They also got close to the Eels. They also got close to the Storm. Forget the fact that it was 46-20. They led 20-16 with 20 minutes to go, the Dragons, but then they fell apart like they do. So, no, I'm going to disagree with you. They got close in games, but they just weren't good enough. This game, they're not going to get close in. If they get close in this game, I become a... If they... No, I'm not going to even say that, just in case. But if they come close in this game, it'd be a miracle to just not lose this game 13+. That's a forward pass. Oh, my gosh. We've just started off, guys. Play number 2 of the second half. The Dragons have thrown a forward pass from their own 20, and the Roosters are going to go back on the attack. This is incredible stuff. This is incredible stuff. This is incredible stuff. It's incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. It's incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. By the way, the Dogs went to extra time with the same Dragons team. By the way, the Dogs shouldn't have beat this Dragons team. It should have been a draw. Chances says, no, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Steve says, too much trying coming. Well, there is a trying coming. It could literally be anyone. It could literally be anyone, man. They go to the left to Nat Butchard. He's going to be 15 metres out from the line, second tackle. Score prediction, Sean, I'm saying over 60. I'm saying that the Roosters hit over 60. Sam Walker, Tedesco, and the Roosters are going to be 5 metres out from the line, third tackle. I feel like they can run it, but no attack and school grade handling. Oh, Reece Robson goes it himself. Robson's still going. And he's going to be 5 metres away here from the line on fourth tackle. Sam Walker, Sherry Evans, Tedesco, Robert Toyer, easiest try of your life. They're hitting over 60. Guys, they may hit 70 today. They may hit 70 today. They may hit 70. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. They may hit 70. Robert Toyer, too easy. But says Mitch Field is going off on Sam Walker on Instagram. Why? Oh, why on Sam Walker? That opened up like the Red Sea. Yeah, look, Val Holmes has to make the play on Tedesco there. Like, you can't blame Val Holmes for that. His man is the one who scores in Toyer. But Cade Reed has been... Oh. They may call this for no try. Because he doesn't actually run through the hole. If you're consistent here, NRL, this is a no try. Because he does actually contact Cade Reed here. That run from Siwa Wong. Yeah, no try. Hey, at least this is consistent. Or at least this is consistent. He does run into him there. This is a consistent call from the NRL. Like, I don't think Cade Reed's really doing anything here, but Val Holmes has to come in. No, it makes the whole world of a difference to this play, because Val Holmes only has to come in on Tedesco because of the contact from Siwa Wong on Cade Reed. If Cade Reed doesn't get taken out there, Val Holmes can stay on his man Robert Toyer, and Cade Reed will come across to protect the inside run of James Tedesco. Like, they may have scored regardless, but at the end of the day, that has made a world of a difference to that play. So it's the correct call. Jeremy says, mate, do you know why the Cows let Val go? Guy's a dirtbag. Well, you saying, what? Do you know why the Cows let Val go is insinuating that, like, they should be regretting it. And then also, guy's a dirtbag. What? Like, what do we do? What's the point that you're making in this comment? So second tackle here for the Dragons. They'll get it across to Hamish Stewart, and Hamish Stewart at the 45 on third tackle on the Roosters side of the field. I'm feeling a prediction of 60 to 10 or 66 to 10. Honestly, it's not a bad prediction. Yeah, do you like them or not? I don't. Yeah, I don't. There's an insinuation of good there, and then there's an insult at the end. They go to Atkinson. Atkinson off. Sloan knocked it on, and oh my gosh, Sloan's knocked that ball on. This has been a rough day to watch. Valor's fallen off a cliff and no one seems to be addressing it. On the contrary, everyone's talking about it. I spoke about it pre-game. I've spoken about it for weeks. Content creators across the game have been talking about it for this whole season so far. I don't know what you're talking about. People were saying that he's played himself out of an origin spot. Well, what are you watching? If you're watching my streams, there's no way you're saying that I don't criticise Val. Literally before this game started, I said that Val needs to turn up. He just simply needs to turn up, Valentine Holmes. Who do you think our 7 should be for the rest of the year? Cade Reed. You must just start Cade Reed. That is what your future is. That's who you believe is your future. So you must start Cade Reed. Setu 2, unless if you don't believe he's your future. If you don't play him for the rest of the year, then that's telling me that you don't believe in Cade Reed. I'm not saying you, that's just in general. Billy Bob's 13 blokes who pretend to be footballers. Val Holmes brings his support to the 45. Sunder says this must be a tough watch for any non-Roosters fan. Like, I'm okay because we have the chat here. Like, if we didn't have the live chat and, like, that's a knock-on from the Dragons. It's a tough watch. But, like, at the end of the day, I love rugby league. But the most beneficial part to YouTube is that we have the live chat for games like this because the Dragons are pathetic. I'll be honest with you. The Dragons are pathetic. I've got to be honest. And if you are offended or upset or take that in a bad way that I'm insulting your club, I think you need to have a real solid think about what you're watching. If you take me saying the Dragons are pathetic right now as an insult, I think that's you need to have a good word to yourself. If you can't see the perspective on that, I think you would agree with it. I can understand defending your team. I can understand being passionate about your team, but it's very obvious what we're watching is pathetic. The Roosters here, you deserve better. 100,000,000%. Fourth tackle here for the Roosters at the 33. Generally thought to myself, why is Todd in the coach's box? Cows aren't playing. Is Todd Payton here, is he? And sold away, boys. My team is shit. Yeah, I've had that before. I feel that. And Val Holmes will be taken back in the end goal. Drop out incoming. Someone said it's true. The live chat is keeping you somewhat sane at the moment. Well, it's just in general. It's for everyone, really. You know, there's a lot of people here who'd be watching the game that aren't a fan of this team that are just here to, interact. This is why, I love this channel because regardless of the game, you have the interaction where you're talking throughout it. Like, if I wasn't streaming, that's going to be a not going 10. So Roosters get the ball at the 10. If I wasn't streaming, I will tell you I would have turned this game off. It's always a good time reading through the Dragon comment sections. Matthew says, I feel when my Sharkies play the Dragons might be a very tough game to also watch given how they defended last night. I am not looking forward to Sharks Bulldogs Magic Round is what I'm telling you, Matthew, because both those teams are on scam. Both the Bulldogs and the Sharks are on scam right now. And that's way too easy for the Roosters. Oh, he's lost the ball. Actually... I refuse to even commentate what I just watched. The Dragons have stripped the ball out in a try-scoring play. Fine. That's allowed. They then swipe the ball forward to go to the Roosters, so it's a 6-0 tackle. And then Angus Crichton, I think, is going to knock this ball on over the line. But Spencer Leniu, I'm pretty certain is going to drop this. Daniel Atkinson, this is a strip. It's 1-on-1, so it's fine. This is 1,000,000% a strip from Daniel Atkinson. I'm telling you, the Dragons comment section acted like they signed Cleary when they saw Reid in the team. Yeah, we'll give it to them. Like they need something to celebrate. They need something to believe in. So knock on from the Dragons, no advantage here. So this is going to be Roosters ball regardless. But Crichton does knock it on over the line here. This is ridiculous for Angus Crichton to get so close, though. Also ridiculous for him to knock the ball on, but it's ridiculous for him to get straight through the line there. I don't know what Tyrell Sloan's doing. That's defensive cone. He's definitely lost the ball, though. What a dumb kick. Oh, my goodness. Why? They're going for a short dropout. It's not easy to do. Of course they're going to go for a short dropout when they're down 34-4. So this should be Roosters ball at 10. No advantage. Did the whole team try to tackle them then? None of them can tackle. Roosters' number one weakness is errors, correct. However, against the Dragons, this is negated since they're worse in that department. There's no reason there shouldn't be a blowout. Wrong. They're not worse in this department. The Roosters are the most error-ridden team in the entire competition. However, the Roosters... and by the way, side note, the Roosters are making more errors today than the Dragons. The Roosters still have more errors than the Dragons. But that doesn't negate the fact that the Roosters are a very good team. The difference is that the Dragons and Roosters both have errors. Mind you, the Dragons are the third least amount of errors this year. The Roosters have the most errors this year on an average. So, wrong, but still agree, but wrong in what you said. Second tackle now for the Roosters, and they're 3 metres out from the line. Reece Robson to Sam Walker. Sam Walker kicks it through, and Dragons will get it, but they're going to go back into the in-goal. It's going to be a dropout. Dragons' whole club is an error. Well, that is an emphasis. Dragons' defence right there would honestly be great working traffic control. 1 bloke working 10 supervising. A lot going on in that comment, Dave. A lot going on. But this is going to be a long and painful 33 minutes, lads. A long and painful 33 minutes. That's a short drop. Oh, it's a mid-range drop. It goes to the 25. This is just training run, attacking-wise, for the Roosters. Billy Bob says, that should tell you enough, mate. We will take anything we can get. We need difference, and when we had a coach whose son plays for the team, we will take anything. I've actually not minded Cade reading certain plays today, except for that second tackle kick. But I've still not minded him at all. I've preferred to watch him than Flanagan. Just play the Dragons New South Wales Cup side for the next match. See how they handle the Knights. Oh, well, Robson's dropped that cold, but Robson's going to score a try into the post. Oh, it happened before the play the ball. They've missed a knock on here. They've missed a knock on here from the Roosters, but it's going to be 38-4 with a kick to come right in front. It's too easy. It's just too easy. It's just way too easy, man. It's just way too easy. Robson's just run straight through the line there. He's just run straight through it. But he's clearly just dropped that ball cold there, Connor Watson. That's a howler of a drop ball. That's a howler of a missed call there. Of course he lost that Sundo. It went completely away from his body too. That was the clearest of knock-ons, yeah. I don't understand how the referee hasn't picked up that knock-on, but either way, Robson's just broken through really poor defense. Geez, Toby Couchman is ripping into Lockup Pacific Tonga. Ripping into him for his defense just then. I can't believe they've missed that knock-on, though. I don't know what Pacific Tonga was doing defensively, actually. I get why Couchman's had that reaction. 8 men, 2 disallowed, and 1 try. Yep. Billy Bob's just chatting with Suicide Watch. Sundo says the 50 bomb won't count. We will need to score 56 for it to truly count. You'll definitely get a 50 bomb here, man. 30 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. 30 minutes to go. They may get 70 on this rate. Stevie Wonder would have seen that. It was a very obvious knock on. Very obvious. Hey, well, Sundo, at least this makes up for your Sunderland performance last night. 5-0. What the hell was that? Nottingham have just saved you. At least you've just saved Nottingham. So you've probably added into the pain of Tottenham fans. First tackle now for the Roosters. Second tackle at 25. Second tackle Long 30 minutes to go. Siwa Wong. Oh, look at the defense. Post contact 12 meters. Come on. Come on. Sam Walker off to Nat Butcher. Nat Butcher straight through the line. He's at the 40 now on the Dragons on the field. 4 tackle. Sam Walker, Angus Crichton. Angus Crichton looking to try get offload away. He can't do it though. 5th tackle here at the 24. And there's going to be a knock on there. Yeah, that's on Crichton. No, that's on Crichton. You've played for that penalty. He's played for it. Good to see Toby blowing up. Shows he cares. Yeah, of course. Again, I think the Couchman boys should stay. But that's poor from Angus Crichton there. First it was the coach, then it was the players. Now we need to clear the board out too. The board has been the emphasis the whole time. The board is the priority the entire time. Slavis says get rid of the shit team. It's now up to Everton to not be a bunch of bitches and sell the game for West Ham. Yeah, well, we play Everton soon as well. We play Southampton tonight. I think our next game's against Everton actually next week. Make it 10-6 to the Dragons in regards to errors. No, the Roosters have made an error in the second half too. That'd be, I think, 7. Well, they should be at 10-7 because they didn't call the Crichton knock on because there was an original knock on. Yeah. So second tackle now for the Dragons at their own 30. Can we see anything from you, St George? Wigan lost last night. It was a hard game to watch. Jared says just a lot of frustration you see from Sewer last week to the Couchmans today. There are people that care that want to try the best, but it's all over the place. It's an absolute schmozzle. Damien Cook, this is a good run, but he'll go only to the 50 on 5th tackle. I'm hoping for 80. No, they're not going to get 40 points in 28 minutes, but like 60 is not out of the equation. 70 is not actually technically out of the equation as well. That is going to go dead for 7 tackles set for the Roosters. Jaden says Dragons struggling. You reckon? Otherwise, says Dragons should keep the Cowshan brothers, Hamish Stewart, Cade Reid, and they then experience half that will help and mentor Reid. They've just signed Daniel Atkinson, man. Like, they're not changing that. The first tackle now for the Roosters at the 35. Do you see Belinda Sharp reffing a grand final in the future? Hopefully not, mate. She was awful yesterday. Belinda Sharp was horrific yesterday in that Cowboys versus Sharks game. She's not the worst ref in the game by any means, but she was awful yesterday. Third tackle now for the Roosters at the 48. Jared's trademark should take a break from the broken Broncos next week. I don't think he'll survive. Oh, yeah, jeez. Yeah, he's in for a really rough week. At a pub blaze while trotting 6 bundies while watching a stream. I hope you're doing well. Get around you. So left-hand side, Reece Robson, Sam Walker, Angus Crichton, and Crichton's going to be at the 30. Here's a drinking game for you today. Every time the Dragons concede, have a drink. You'll be absolutely plastered by the end of it. Sam Walker puts that one up in the air. There's 3 Roosters. Oh, that's a knock on from the Dragons. And 6 again for the Roosters. 10 metres out from the line. There is still 26 minutes left, Brenton. It's painful. It really is. Reece Robson, Sam Walker, Nat Butcher. And Nat Butcher brings his ball to the 5 on first tackle. Reece Robson, Radley, and Radley is going to be 3 metres away. Reece Robson, third tackle, Celeste Fiketti, 3 metres away. Robson, Sam Walker kicks it through. Angus Crichton, too easy, lads. There's going to be 60. 1,000,000% there's going to be 60 points scored here today. 1,000,000% there's going to be 60 points scored today. It's 44 to 4, and there's still 26 minutes to go. This is just diabolical. Diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. Genesis Dragons are definitely going to win this one. Yeah, no, they're looking good, mate. They're looking good. As you can see, I'm really excited on the stream right now. I'm having a great time. Great time. It is genuinely a training run here for the Chooks. No try, didn't get 10 fingers down the ball. Honestly, everyone may score. Who hasn't scored for the Roosters today, nearly? It's crazy that Tupou and Tedesco both haven't scored. Sam Walker's got a double. Yeah, this is a shambles. Absolute shambles. Absolute shambles. They've had one completed set, the Dragons, in the first 15 minutes of the second half. One completed set. Like, seriously, come on. Come on. Like, they've had a couple of tough calls, but they've just been horrific. Would the NRL look at bringing another club into the league at the expense of the Dragons? No. And Jossie says, should have just given the Chooks a bye. And Michael says, Hugo hasn't scored. Simon says, need Teddy to score more. Yeah, well, we don't need anything, really. Like, we're currently watching a 46-4. I just want the final 25 minutes to finish up here, really. Dragons are probably seeing if Jamie Soward is still available for a game. The score lines have been massive this year, and this one is going to be probably the biggest score of the year. Mind you, the Dragons organisation expects Dragons fans to continue showing up. How about your learn a disgrace? Well, I want to know if Jag was telling the truth before. Jag is a Dragons fan. He commented before saying the CEO publicly said they have a wooden spoon roster. If that's true, it's the most disgraceful thing I've seen in rugby league. Way worse than Shane Flanagan saying they couldn't win the comp. Jim Masters, Croc was saying beforehand, anything can happen in this match. It could go both ways, but come on, we all knew with great confidence what was going to happen in this game. Not necessarily. Like, I was saying that the Dragons, with a new coach, there's a world where they can, turn up and put in a performance and make it close. I did still tip the Roosters, and I said the Roosters could still absolutely win this game by 60, 70, and I said those words. But the Dragons didn't turn up again. They scored the first try of the game. It looked exciting, and then it was a no try, and they lost all their confidence. And the Roosters scored quickly, and Matty Fine had a disaster class. Here's Setu 2. Setu 2 is actually maybe going to score here. Tyrell Sloan's going to score. So it's 46-8 with the kick to come. So at least it's a good try there for the Dragons. 46-8 with the kick to come. Good run from Setu 2, though. So no, I disagree with your comment about Cooper Cronk there. I think that there was always a sense that the Roosters, if they came in here with all their errors, they could have lost this game. But they're just way better than the Dragons, and it's just as simple as that. But no, I think it's not fair to criticise a belief in maybe a surprise upset result. And now that we've seen how the game's gone, like it's gone as expected, but I don't think it's crazy to suggest an upset result when we've seen, Broncos versus the Bulldogs yesterday, or Tigers versus the Broncos, or the Bulldogs versus the Panthers when no one was expecting that. Like, it's definitely entirely possible. So no, I don't believe that Cooper Cronk should be getting slandered for that. Do we expect the Dragons to get absolutely strangled by the neck this bad? It was entirely possible the entire time. And they will get the kick, so it's 46-10 with 23 minutes to go here of the game. Is Simon just this year or beyond? I'm not sure. Sono says comeback is on. I'm starting to get a bit worried. Yeah, you'd be real worried. Real worried. Billy says, cheers for your analysis. I'll see you next week when I get depressed again. Well, next week you have the bye, Billy. Next week the Dragons have the bye. I reckon Dragons scoring 2 more embarrassing than us conceding 46. Whatever helps you sleep at night, man. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I'm not annoyed at the loss. For me, it's how we are losing that's so frustrating. Yeah, that's me every week with the Titans. And that's a penalty here to the Dragons. So we get our first points of the season next week. Oh, yes. Well, maybe. The bye, the Titans put a million past them this week. The Titans absolutely slapped the bye this week. Slapped them so hard. Oh, my gosh. But, the bye might be a chance next week, so be aware. Lucian Leilua will get this ball to the 45. Can they score again? Damien Cook to Cade Reid. Cade Reid underneath to Emre Gula, and Emre Gula is at the 50 on second tackle. Don't forget, right after this, we do have an interesting game between the Warriors and the Dolphins over there in New Zealand. 6 again here for the Dragons. Moses Suli nearly knocks the ball on, but it'll be first tackle now at the 45. The pressure is on us on the next Dragons game. Massive pressure. Massive pressure. Setu 2, Damien Cook, Daniel Atkinson. They go to Cade Reed, Leilua, Tyrell Sloan. Sloan taken down at the 35 on third tackle. Just got here glad to see the Dragons still the Dragons. They are very much the Dragons still. Fourth tackle for St George. And now they'll go to Hamish Stewart. It's a good run. It's a great offload. Daniel Atkinson through the middle. Daniel Atkinson. Well, it's a good run, but there'll be 3 minutes out. Great offload from Hamish Stewart, who should have started this game, mind you. He should have started it. Damien Cook. And drop ball from Cade Reed. It's gone backwards, though. And that's a knock on. Tedesco goes away. And that's the fitty bum right there. That's the fitty bum right there. James Tedesco is going to pick that ball up from a knock-on from the Dragons. And 50 points to 10. It's a fitty bum. Fitty bum. Fitty bum. Fitty bum. Fitty bum has been slapped. If you remember, you can drop the fitty bum gif in the chat. Way too easy here for the Sydney Roosters. Tedesco just picks the ball up and runs 80, 90 metres. That is just dearing me. That is just dearing me. See how the Dragons didn't even chase, all just looked at the ref. Well, no one was going to get Teddy. Tyrell Sloan does technically chase, but I also agree with you. 20 minutes to go here of this this game. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. The first one's actually knocked back from Cade Reed, but Tedesco's just in the... I don't know why Val Holmes isn't making a play at Tedesco there, though. Jacob says the Dragons haven't thrown an intercept pass yet, so there's hope for them. What did we just watch, basically? We essentially just saw that. What a way to start Super Saturday, everyone. Footy Days says Fitty Bum, get the shirt off. The Fitty Bum shirt off only happens for the Titans, man. I thought it wasn't a Fitty Bum until the Roosters hit 56. No, this is a Fitty Bum right here. What? I've never said that. How good is this? Silent says, dang, missed the Fitty Bomb. Yeah, well, it was just a 90-metre try for James Tedesco after the mistake there from the Dragons, and there is still a world they can get to. You know what? It's not out of this world that they can get to potentially 74 to 80. I would not be surprised if the Roosters could score 4 more tries in the next 19 and a half minutes. And there's a sad Dragons fan in the crowd. Mr. MB's is ahead of the clock, and I think that they may genuinely keep up with the clock. I genuinely think that with the way the Roosters are playing and the Dragons are playing, we could see them get... I fully back them for another 3 tries for 70. Yeah, credit bro for still being there. No, I respect it. I respect it if you are still there. That's a knock on there from the Roosters. So the Dragons will pick it up at the 35. And now they'll go on to the attack here. Watched Warrington vs Wigan last night in Super League. It wasn't as exciting as NRL. Well, this game isn't exciting. Quite a few lads from various places down under. Well, that's basically the Super League. So Cade Reed will be at the 30 here to put this ball in the scrum. All right, Dragons at the 30. You watch Val Holmes. You watch Val Holmes get a get a try. You watch it. He's like so undeserving one, but he'll just get one, won't he? Second tackle now at the 23. Damien Cook, Cade Reed, Toby Couchman. He's going to be at the 13. It's when we bind the Super League. I think it will happen. Damien Cook to Cade Reed. Reed to Atkinson, Tyrell Sloan, short. Oh, there's Val Holmes knock on. Forward and dropped. And it's gone dead, so it's a 7 tackle set at the 20, mind you. What a painful, painful game. What a painful game. First tackle, 0 tackle now for the Roosters at the 25. The NRL should expand to the Northern Territory. No, they should not. I'm not going to read the rest of the comment. First tackle here at the 35. It's not happening. Not for a long time. Second tackle here at the 42. And the Roosters, Reece Robson slips over, gives it to Cherry Evans. Then off to Siwa Wong, and Siwa Wong will be at the 45 on the Dragons side of the field. Roosters Tedesco through the line against Crichton, then off to Hugo Savala. Savala off to Daniel Tupou. Tupou's going to score. 56-10 with the kick to come. This is pathetic. You are pathetic, Dragons. Anyone who gets offended by that, you're a muppet. This is pathetic. It's pathetic rugby league. It is pathetic rugby league. If there is ever a more deserving of a spoon right now, it is you. The St George Illawarra Dragons, this has been one of the most pathetic games I've seen from a club in a very long time. And I've seen my club put on pathetic performances at the Gold Coast Titans. But this is just diabolical. Hugo Savala broken through the line, gets the ball off to Daniel Tupou, and then Tupou's just going to run it straight through. Pretty much everyone scored from the Roosters today, and there's still 17 minutes to go. They could get 80. They could get 80 here today. It's not out of the equation of 4 tries in 16 minutes with how this game has gone. They could get fucking 80. 80 is on the cards here. 80 is on the cards. 90 is not on the cards. They're not getting 34 points in 16 minutes. If they get that, like that's about it for me. This might be the worst rugby league team I've seen. I saw the 2021 Dogs. That was pretty bad. What was your worst loss in 2021, Daz? Like points wise, what was your worst loss? But I thought it was the coach. Face of the problem, not the core of the problem. Elijah Valholm should be going nowhere near a Maroons jersey this year. Should be going nowhere close to a Queensland jersey this year, Valholm should be. 66-0 to Manly, Clown, mate. Fair enough. 66-0. 2021 Manly, yeah. Pants off for the Roosters 70 bomb. Boulder, you assume they're on. Aspect says, I hope he does. 58-10 with 16 minutes to go here of the game. 58-10. We went 3 weeks without scoring a point that year as well. Yeah, that's wild. Jess says, who do we have in the next game? Be a better game than this. I've got the Warriors, but the Dolphins could definitely win it. I think that's going to be Roosters knocked back. So Robert Toya, he will just take the tackle at 30. Luckily, Dragons got that sack coach boost. Otherwise, this could have got ugly. No, again, they scored first. It was taken off as a no try, but like, they scored first and we were a bit hot. Has Tedesco scored? He scored the try just before that one for Tupou. He scored off a 90-metre breakaway. I'm off to the start. Nath, I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. Sam Walker, he's going to get taken down to the 35 on 4 tackle. Hugo Savala to Lindsay Collins. And Lindsay Collins is going to be at the 28 now on 5th tackle. Cherry Evans, he's going to put that ball up into the air. The Roosters coming through. Not a single Dragons player played it. Roosters, well, Leilua's going to get an intercept, and it's going to be a penalty to the Dragons. I googled the largest winning margin, and it appears to be Tigers, 74 points in round 18, 2023. That would be 74-0 to the Cowboys. The same game played 5 weeks earlier was 66-18 to the Tigers. The Tigers won 66-18 over the Cowboys. 5 weeks later, the Cowboys won 74-0 over the Tigers. No, Mitchell, stop timing him out for it. Stop timing him out for it, Mitchell. Once is fine. Stop timing out every single negative Tigers comment, brother. Couchman's going to be at the 30 on 3rd tackle. I know it's 10 seconds, Mitchell, but stop doing it. So out to 30, Moses Sully to Atkinson, Hamish Stewart's at the 24 on 4 tackle. Damien Cook then to Daniel Atkinson, and he's going to be at the 18. He gets the offload away to Damien Cook, back to Tyrell Sloan. Tyrell Sloan to Cade Reed, and Reed will be at the 20 on 5th tackle. Well, you've debuted in a game you've given up 58. Yikes. It's not his fault, though, at all. Atkinson puts that one up in the air. Setu 2, catches it, throws it off. Sully will score. Sully will score. Setu 2 has had such a weird, bizarre game, man. Like, he's been so bad, but he's also been so good, too. Like, he's had really good moments, and he's actually the reason for all of their tries. 58-14 here with a kick to come. Jason says if the Dragons score 2 points every minute, they can come back. Well, there's your 6 points. At least with Gary, we know it's not malicious. Yeah, it's not malicious with Gaz. He's literally just pointing it out. I don't have enough knowledge to sledge any team. Gary, that's a good ideology to have. A lot of people who don't have enough knowledge to sledge teams will sledge teams just for the sake of it. A man named Moas Bas from South Africa was a prime example of this on this channel before, unfortunately. He had to get hidden for going extremely rogue. Yes. Jess says, won my bet. How do I send money? Oh, you won your bet. Good stuff, Jess. How do you send money? Are you saying like to donate? I think like there's on the chat thing, there's like a money sign or something, isn't there? I appreciate that if you do. Blake says, 2 going to get 100. What did you win? What were you winning today, Jess? 2 going to get 100 Supercoach points. At least has doing something for the Dragons. Yeah, he's had like a good and a bad game. There's been some really bad moments, but he's also had some pretty good moments as well. 58 to 16. Lot of points in this one. 12 minutes to go. 12 minutes to go. But yeah, like on the chat, there's like a money sign or something like that. I'm not too sure. I don't usually have time to watch live streams myself. Sometimes I watch some Premier League commentary, but I'm usually watching at the pub or at a place. So the Dragons will get this ball to 15. I bet 66 points in the game. Won £100. Good stuff. 66 points. Yeah, this game always had points in it. It's a good bet. Gary says, Blaze is the Norris McWhite of the NRL. He was a British chap that knew every single world record in the Guinness Book of World Records. Unbelievable knowledge. Like, I have a good idea about things. It doesn't mean I'm right about everything, but I don't have every knowledge of every single stat of all time. There are definitely people that will be better than me at that, but I do know a bit about what we watch because we watch every single game. Aspects with the $8 donation. Get around your Aspects. Appreciate you for the support, brother. Says, won my AFL bet and good news. What did you bet on? Good win, man. Thank you for the support. If you're on a laptop or computer, there is a dollar button in the chatting area. Sexy 70. Entirely possible and entirely probable. The Sexy 70 is definitely on. 60 Slammer still needs to be hit, but no one to Wase. He offloads it to Toya. Toya then gets his ball off to Sherry Evans. Sherry Evans to Tedesco. Tedesco right through a hole, and he'll be at the 50, the 45. Good run there. 10 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I don't even know. Copied off feed. You don't even know what bet you made. I'm on the NRL website checking the team stats and notice the Panthers are in the middle of the pack in most categories, and the only thing they're leading in is at least penalties conceded, yeah? Sam Walker kicks it over the top here for Angus Crichton, and the bounce will go for the Dragons, luckily enough. It'd be a miracle for you to not get 60 put on you. A miracle. See, the thing that benefits what we do, Gary, is a consistency. So it's pretty difficult to not have a clue when you watch every single game. Like, it's amazing if you put your time and effort into watching every single game. If you are disastrously wrong about everything you say, there is a serious problem. So realistically, it just comes down to the time and effort that I put into the game by watching every single one of them. From pre-season, World Cup Challenge, NRL, Finals, Origin, World Cup, everything. So it's pretty difficult for people to not... It's way more difficult to not understand it. They kick this ball through, and Sam Walker will get this ball at the 45, and Tedesco, he will get it to the 50 on first tackle. Brett Nesley with the $8 donation. Appreciate you for the support, man. Didn't win anything. I'm just cashed up, mate. Follow line. Get around here, Brenton. Get around here. Cashed up, mate. Living the dream. Living the dream. Living the dream. Victor Radley. Appreciate for the support, guys. Third tackle definitely helps the boost of getting through the rest of this last 9 minutes of this absolutely abhorrent matchup. We do have the Warriors versus the Dolphins right up next. It's good, Gary, especially since you're not emotionally invested in a particular team, so you can just watch every game as a neutral. Gary's a Titans fan. Sam Walker, Tedesco. Easy try, Daniel Tupou. There's the 60 Slammer. 62 to 16 with a kick to come. Well, Jess, they're going to get 66 on their own, the Roosters. They're going to get 66 in their own. Olivia Root with the $8 donation says, either did I, with a sad face, either did you. Oh, as in like you didn't win anything either. Yeah, but you usually do. Actually, you would have won yesterday. Didn't you say you bet on both the underdogs yesterday, Olivia? You bet on the Cowboys and you bet on the Broncos? Surely you would have been catched up from a couple of the cheeky little bets yesterday. Oh, and the Jess slaps in the dono train is happening right now. It is just raining in fitty bombs, it's raining in 60 slammers, and it's raining in donuts as well. Get around your Jess for the £20 donation. You're a legend. Appreciate all the support, guys. And this is highlighting the chat right now to get us through the last 8 minutes of a game that has 80 points scored on it, and the Roosters probably hit 70 in. So thank you very much, Jess, and good to see people winning some bets in the chat. For you, Dads, the $119 from Roosters 13 plus, but it's not enough to donate. Well, we get $1.90 of that, yes. So you go donate $1.90 for your dad. I won $19 from Roosters 13 plus. They wouldn't have been paying much for that, would they? Justin Sundam, over 56 months, get around. He's a sexy 70 incoming. Honestly, I think so. As long as Sam Walker gets his kick. But even if he misses it, I wouldn't even put it past the Roosters to score twice here. Yeah, Dan Young's just walked away. He's just walked out. I get it too. I get it. This is going to be an elite blow-up from JC today. It'll be an elite blow-up. And it's deserved. Gary says, Jared, I follow the Titans, Blaze knows why, but I have a soft spot for Manly due to our leader. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, who's your leader, though? My dad can't be your leader, surely. He's a Manly fan, but I don't think he would be your leader. But no, good to see you're a Titans fan with a soft spot for Manly, Gary. This is adding insult to injury right now. The Dragons are currently being broadcast at all their sad fans from the crowd. So the broadcast is just showing sad Dragons fans everywhere. Jason says, if the Bunnies win tonight, I'm donating to the chat. Mate, alright, let's fire it up. Let's see if the Bunnies can do it. Sam Walker's missed the kick, so it stays 62-16 with 7 minutes to go here. Jared says, Dean Young booking the Bali tickets for the Dragons earlier today. Well, he's actually just gone to Bali. So he left the coach's box just then. I think he's already on his way to the airport to go to Bali, yeah. Mitchell says, Blaze is spending all this money on male strippers tonight. Why have you just said male strippers? I have a partner and I'm a very loyal man, but male strippers? What's going on? What are we doing? Jess says, big love. I set my alarm to listen in. Love how I'm now loving the NRL thanks to you in the chat. Get around you, Jess. Good to see that you're a Titans fan as well. You know, we're all Titans fans here. It just takes a while for people to admit it. Nafahu White, like, look at Gary just then. He said he's a massive, passionate Titans fan with a soft spot for Manly, you know. Good man. And same thing with you. Olivia says, I salute those people in the crowd. Honestly, I do. Because I've been there. I know exactly how they feel. I have been there. I have done it. I've seen it from their perspective every week. I travelled internationally, domestically, every week to watch my team come second last, fourth last, every week. So I fully understand how Dragons fans feel. And that's why I'm just like, I feel for the Dragons fans being broadcasted right now. Even though it shows your loyalty, it's a shit feeling, man. It's a shit feeling. I think Sam Walker probably gets man of the match here, Michael. Jess is Derbyshire, but born in Wiggins and travelled to every game. You travel to every Wigan game. Good stuff. Silencer says, K Reid is making a big difference tonight. Also, when does that wheel start spinning? We will do it at some stage, man. We could have actually done it here today. I could do it tomorrow, to be fair. We could do a wheel spin. We'll donate tomorrow because tomorrow's games are not amazingly exciting. Panthers Knights and Eels Manly. Not amazingly exciting. As he says, Doggies fans should be familiar to this Knights and Manly. Should be familiar to Knights and Manly? What are Knights and what's Knights and Manly got? What's Manly got to do with anything? What? Don't worry, Dragons will give you a win. Mate, Dragons. What are they doing? Fit tackle. They're back at the 25. Cade Reid runs out of the 35. And then he'll boot this one down. But it'll be an easy one for Tedesco on the run of the 40. There's still another 2 tries left in this Roosters team, I promise you. Nawana Tawase goes out to the right. Can't get the offload away. He's at the 40 on the Dragon side of the field. The Bulldogs have had some bad years. but it's not been as consistent across a long period as others. But they have had some bad years. They're kind of entering maybe a bit of a down period right now if they don't get their shit sorted, though. Angus Crichton at 25. The Dogs had a steroid injection worth of bad years, but it wasn't like a long duration. Like, at the end of the day, they still made the grand final in 2012. They still got in the grand final in 2014. Sherry Evans here at the 15 on 4 tackle. But they had a steroid injection of some bad years. Sam Walker, they drop the ball forwards, and it is Dragons ball to 10. So maybe they don't get 2 tries here. Oh, they're going to challenge this. That was 3 years ago. We lost 6-16 to the Knights. Move on. Move on. Move on. Who was that again in the cricket community? Can't remember. Who was that again? It was so funny. Andy says, if I was Drinkwater, I'd backflip as quickly as I could to get away from the shit show. He wants to be the change. Kalamatangi, though, is is a rough one for him, leaving the Rabbitohs to go to the Dragons team right now. I think it's backwards. I think this is a successful challenge. Jess says, when the world settles down and Defo going to see a live NRL game, I haven't picked a side to support yet. Yeah, you have, Jess. You're a Titans fan. Trust me, you go to the Gold Coast, you get it. Alfie Langer singing St George can't play. Yeah, ball rolls backwards out of his arm, so this is going to be Roosters' ball still. At least we didn't win the spoon 3 years in a row, correct? Yeah. But you were the team that won the spoon before that. Brent says, your mate that crashed out that's not here anymore. My mate that crashed out that's not here anymore. Who's my mate that crashed out? It was McGill. Ah, that's right. It was McGill with Move On thing on his podcast. Still funny. Yeah, that was very funny from McGill. So Roosters will keep the ball here. They still may get 70. 4 tackle. Reece Robson to the left. Chance to Fahu White. He's 4 metres away from the line. 5th tackle. Reece Robson, short ball. Radley, try time. 60-60-16 with a kick to come. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, lads. If you do not laugh, you will cry. See, this worries me. With new teams coming in and they're wanting more, and this is how this team is playing. I think this is a direct reflection of the Dragons board, though. I think it's a direct reflection of their incapability of... Oh, he nearly lost that ball, but he kept it. Their incapability to run a football club. And I'm pretty sure the Dragons fans will agree to that. Oh, no, there's going to be a bunker here. I'm pretty certain they're going to say this is a knock-on. They might just say he doesn't regather it. So he's lost it there. Oh! I actually think that's a try. I think that's rough. But also, who gives a shit, man? Footy Dad says, I'm going to take my $19 and place on a head-to-head for the next game. Who's your tip? You know what? I'm going to say, I want you to risk it for the biscuit. You know what? You do what you want, man. You don't do what I say because I'm not taking any responsibility. But I'm taking a Waz 13+. I'm doing it. But I'm not responsible for your decisions. I'm not responsible for your decisions. Our board need to resign now. They cannot be happy with this. Well, apparently your CEO said you got a wooden spoon roster. If I fly over for a Titans game, then we best meet up for a drink. Well, I haven't been to a Titans game for a year and a bit now. I'll be back at some stage, just not just quite yet. 4 tackle over the Dragons to the 45. I can't believe this game's still going. Don't forget, we'll be going straight live into the next game, mind you, which is the Warriors versus the Dolphins. But the Dragons at the 45. Chuck it on Fisher Harris to score a try first. Fisher Harris to score a try anytime is enough. Oh, the Roosters might score here. No one to Watchalong at the 35, at the 40, the 45, the 50. He's away. He's gone over the sideline. I'll do Waz just for a win and donate 10% if it wins, but not feeling a 13+. Like, mate, you're going to spew if they win 13+. You're going to spew. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Commissar says, Dolphins coming off a Golden Point loss in Darwin, then flying all the way to a sold-out Wellington. Going to be difficult for the Finns. Oh, you're selling it to him, Commissar. You're selling it to him. You're selling it to me, and I already back it in for a Wise 13+. You're selling it to us. First tackle here at the 40. Oh, you can see Leilua. Biffo, someone throw an uppercut, you cats. Someone throw an uppercut, you cats. Leilua and Nafahu White having a crack at each other here. That's just frustration from Luciano. Dolphin, yeah. And it was very humid in Darwin. A penalty to the Dragons, apparently. There's the Biff. Bring back the Biff. Chin him. Can't believe people got angry at you for not going to every game, and yet they were the same people who had not been to an NRL game since the Great Depression. Whoa. I just heard the commentary say someone about having a crap hairdo. He said he won't say the S word, but someone has a crap hairdo. Who's he insulting? Who did they just insult? They just said somebody has essentially a shit hairdo in the commentary. Instead of Dean Young to the presser, it should be our CEO on board. That will never happen. But I agree. Seyfarth would have been sent off for that. Good. So first tackle of the Dragons at the 30. He was saying that's what the players were saying. Well, that, thankfully, because otherwise that was such a random comment to hear in the commentary. Some shade towards the player's hairdo. They were saying, like, Lewis said to White, and that's what started the biffo. And that's funny now. It just didn't make any sense from a commentary perspective. When the game is so bad, we're making fun of people's haircuts in commentary. Incredible stuff. Dean Young has the best hair in the Dragons. So the Dragons are 15 metres away here from the line. Victor Radley on report. Cade Reed, Atkinson, Tyrell Sloan. 13 metres away now. Second tackle for the Dragons. 2 for another try, please. Oh, what an absolute disaster for the Dragons here. I think they just called a 6 again. First tackle here at the 5. 1 minute to go. Damien Cook to Atkinson. Cade Reed will score a try on debut. Cade Reed will score a try. So it's 62-20 with the key to come. Oh, no, it's going to be obstruction. Oh, no, it goes from bad to worse. It's a no try for obstruction. Cade Reed won't score, lads. It's way too big of a hole. Eloko. Oh, no. Nafahu has to go around him. It's the correct call. Oh, no. You didn't give up 20, Serpent, but also this is... Oh, Dragons. No. He probably still scores, but at the end of the day, he does stop in the line and he has to force Nafahu White to go around him. So 42 seconds to go here. The Roosters will get a couple of tackles to finish us off. Commissar says, remember, I said Sam Walker will win it, Michael, yeah. Remember, he was nothing else to learn in reserve grade and has to leave the club. Who? 20 seconds to go. Roosters at the 40. Game-changing call. Yeah, ruined the game, that. Cherry Evans with the ball. I'm going to get ready to quickly switch over to the next stream, by the way. Second tackle here for the Roosters. They're at the 45. We're going to be switching very quickly across, guys. So do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. The game is over. The Roosters went 62-16. The nightmare is done, Dragons. You get a bye next week, so at least you get 2 points from that. But, guys, I've got to quickly jump across to the Warriors versus the Dolphins game. So, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll be back in just a few moments. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.